I'd be very motocross about it.
Okay, I'm done. Recording's finished. Have a good night, everyone.
Hi everyone, this is absolute legend Alex. Welcome to the Real Gamerscore podcast. This week I am joined by Total Knobs and Disco's Matt.
Howdy.
And Kirby.
Hey.
Here at the Real Gamerscore podcast, we like to discuss all things Xbox, achievements, and meeting your heroes and letting them know how good their games are. This week we talk about insulting your fans, achievement switches, and a community of Limbo G-Task champions. But first, here is the song of the week.
Games makes a man take the controller. Games, G-Test lead that's hard to follow. Games, in defeat I'll make you wallow. Games. Games, heaps to play, driving you insane, trying to get your pletions done. Games. Games, what you like no longer matters. Games, here I'll be until tomorrow. Games, what I have to buy, rent to borrow. Games, 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 games.
Was that even gaming related? Like, was there any mention of a video of any kind of,
I had to tweak the song a little bit to try and get games in there, but you might not have noticed. It was very subtle, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, blink and you miss it type of thing. Well, I'm glad you explained that to me before the show, because I would have recognised the song, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you what the song name was. But anyway, that's the song of the week. So thanks again, Matt, for another great song. You can enter our Song of the Week competition. So send your answer for the artist and song name to the Real Gamerscore profile on True Achievements. So that's Real Gamerscore, all one word, and the S is a 5. Promise that's not a puzzle. It's just the way we had to get that profile on there.
We probably could change it just to an S now because of the multi. I don't think there'd be another Real Gamerscore on True Achievements, so we'd end up just being Real Gamerscore.
Real Gamerscore #4321.
No, that wouldn't show because we are unique on True Achievements.
That's fine. Just ruin my joke.
Yeah. Screw your countdown.
Alright, well, if you want to come and join us in Discord...
I definitely didn't get that just now.
If you want to come and join us in Discord, you can find the invite to get in at discord.io/realgamerscore. We're always in there if you want to have a chat about this, that, or the other thing, or if you want to tell Matt he has a wonderful singing voice. I think I'm going to go and tell you in Discord right now. Anyway...
I won't.
There's also a reminder, we're going to be discussing the survey results this weekend, the three of us, and trying to put in some of the new ideas that we've got, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and maybe chop down on some things based on the feedback. So if you want to have your say, time is running out. Get it done before this weekend. We've got our random to-do list competition. So this month, Chin, what's happening with the random to-do list contest?
Well, you need to enter... See, my flubs get cut, yours don't.
Yeah, I know.
It's going to be great. So you need to... Fucking clap gets you every time.
Got him!
Oh, you...
Oh, perfect.
Okay. Oh, man, I really need to remember that. Hold up, let me type. 2316. Otherwise, I will forget. Yeah, so to enter the competition, you need to unlock at least one achievement on your random to-do list, and then send the answer to the trivia question, another game with the word infinity in the title, to the random to-do list account on True Achievements. If you are not in the random to-do list, which is essentially just a list of 25 achievements in your collection that you need to unlock, it's usually a bit of fun, bit of backlog management. If you would like to be entered, just send a friend request or a message over to the random to-do list account on True Achievements, or send me a message in Discord and I'll hook you up as soon as I'm awake or free. So, yeah, that's that.
And the code that you're going for this month is for the game Subdivision Infinity DX.
Did I not say that? I don't know.
I don't think you did, but
probably not, to be honest.
Pop it in there anyway.
Stream of
I was
words.
waiting for you to say it, and then I didn't hear it, so I thought I'd just pop it in there as well.
Oh, yeah, before we move on to news.
Yeah?
I just wanted to, because I spotted this earlier. I was on Twitter. This is not really news. This is just feel-good stuff. So someone I follow who does other podcasts that I listen to had a little thread that he mentioned, and I read it and I was like, you know what, that applies to us in so many ways. So he essentially said, as the internet continues to lower the barriers to entry for aspiring entertainers, podcasters, vloggers, etc., there's a proliferation of guides for the technical aspects of digital art, but there are comparatively few resources instructing healthy relationships with audiences. I'm thankful that if I have some technical podcast question, I can go to my magical rectangle, type in google.com what is a VST plugin, and be instantly informed. But reliable resources for ensuring fan communities are safe places are harder to come by. All of this to say, 1, exert effort in not just growing your fan base, but listening to and valuing them. And 2, no, that's relevant. That's just something related to his specific community. I think, I would hope at least, that we have, like, I saw that and thought, we have done that. Like, I'm not listening to people's problems out of obligation, or you know, how people's days have gone out of obligation. I listen and interact because I genuinely care about the people I'm talking to. Like, you know, whatever, whether it's Isaac talking about his future son/daughter hybrid. It is Japan. No, but you know, and talking about him getting an Xbox again, and just talking crap about Japanese stuff, or you know, whenever Cameron complains because he stands under a tree and the sun is still on him because you know, he's a shadowless hedge.
Oh boy.
Jeez.
You know,
Man.
I think we've done a reasonably good job in fostering a good community, and I read that and I was like, that's us, yo.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned it a few episodes ago. Actually, it might have been more than a few episodes ago. We don't have everyone in our Discord, but the people that we have in our Discord, I am thankful that they're there. The other thing I was thinking of when you were talking about that is looking after a community of people is hard. You know, when there's a disagreement or a dispute, moderating is difficult. You know, especially if you're
biased
trying to be,
trying
to be, you know, unbiased. It's tough. You know, you look at something the way someone's written it, you read it a certain way, someone else reads it a different way, and it's like, you know, you can't always have a good resolution for everyone, but you can try and do your best to make everyone happy. And I think that's what we do. You know, there are things out there that are a lot worse than what happens in our Discord, but that doesn't mean that we don't care enough to pay attention to the things that happen in our Discord. So I think I'll probably finish my bit on this by saying, if you have problems in our Discord that you want to discuss with me, that's fine. You can do so. Feel free to send me a private message or find me in an Xbox Live party, and you can come and chat to me. You know, even if it's not about something that's happening in Discord and you just want to talk, that's cool, man.
Yeah, we're definitely always open to hearing whatever needs to be said, and I think for the most part our community doesn't give us a lot of stuff that we need to moderate on, which I think is part of it, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
I just read that and thought, how good is our community, and then felt like mentioning it again. I know we say it a lot, but
that person is right though. It's a lot easier to get technical support. I never really thought about that until you mentioned it. But I wonder if getting technical support there's so many resources because it's easy. You know, if someone knows what would you say a VST plugin is?
VST plugin, I don't know.
For them to write a paragraph, I don't know either, but it's easy for them to write a paragraph about what is this, or look it up in Wikipedia. But, you know, I would say that there's much less results for how to moderate a community effectively, or community moderation or something, because it's hard. And especially if you are, you know, personally involved in the issue, or, you know, very good friends with one of the people. Yeah. Anyway, before we get too bogged down in that, thanks for bringing that. No, it's cool, man. It's cool.
Genuine.
Like, cool. Mental health is important, and I think that, I mean, I'm going to get off my soapbox in a second, but mental health is going to be one of the biggest problems going forward. You know, I don't think people do enough to look after their mental health, and I'm probably in that boat, and I don't think that you know, insurers and private health insurance and that kind of stuff does enough. But that's another topic for another day. So we'll go straight into the news before we got to do a mental health episode. Kind of segueing something positive into something like having a little go. Xbox are offering it's a Lucky Gears fan a chance to meet the developers from the Coalition. So my thoughts on the Coalition will be well known, and I just thought
#best company, right?
Yeah, no. I just thought, wouldn't it be good if I was the one who won it? Just be like, I just walk in and I'm popping me right in here. Your resupply card can.
I'm Poppy.
And walk out, and they'll all be there like waiting with their arms open, happy that this fan's won it, and I'm just like, yeah. Anyway,
just get a trophy, engrave Seriously 4.0 on it, and just throw it at them and leave.
I don't have that much of a problem with Seriously 4.0. It's not that bad, and once I get back to Gears of War, I'll get Seriously 4. But that resupply card. Anyway, I'm not going to go on about that either, because everyone knows how I feel about that. Having said that, if you do really like Gears of War, it is a pretty cool competition. I've always thought if there was a game I really, really like that, and there was a chance for an Australian to enter that, you know, that'd be awesome to meet the team and go, oh man, you know, I love this game, and I love that this happened, and talk about your experiences. That'd be really, really cool.
Okay, so it's open only to US participants. But the studio is based in Vancouver, British Columbia. I
guess
from technicality, I know there's issues with holding competitions in Canada. Like there are requirements you need to hit.
Yeah.
But that just seems really weird to not include Canada in this competition to visit a Canadian place.
I mean, depending on who you ask, Vancouver's not really part of Canada anyway.
Jeez, are you offending all our Canadian listeners? I don't
No,
really
none of
know.
them are from. No, just the people from Vancouver, and they're not Canadian. Didn't you just hear
Exactly.
them?
Yeah, so it's fine. Yeah,
no.
they're so close to the border that I mean, it barely counts.
Is it like Tasmania? It's not really a part of Australia.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, right?
Connected to the country.
Technically, no. All right, so the remaining part of the competition is you also win an Xbox One X Gears 5 bundle, and the design on it is actually pretty sick. It's got like this icy design on it, like the ice is cracking, and they got the Coalition logo on there. Do you know what? Actually, it would have been really cool if the Coalition logo was what you pressed to turn the controller on. Anyway, but it's a pretty cool Xbox there. So
what would the unique sound be?
It'd be a chainsaw revving, obviously.
No. It'd be when you pick up one of those cog tags. I think that the Gears of War 3, the Xbox, when you turned it on, it made that noise like the woo. I can't do it.
Gotcha.
You know the one I'm talking about.
So it didn't have Marcus Phoenix going nice every time you turned on the controller.
I think
that one's going to distort.
Whatever sound plays when that Archer Vile spawns an enemy.
Archvile.
Yeah,
That's
the
Doom.
Archer Vials. That's this game, right?
No, that's a totally different game, Chen.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Then it
Chin,
should be
that's cool.
like a voice clip of like Cortana saying "on." That's this
Okay,
game,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, okay,
All
right.
right, if you wanted to go to the next news article, you could have just taken it and run with it, all right?
It's the sound of a wingman reloading in Apex Legends.
I don't even know what that sounds like. But Apex Legends,
Probably
I'm glad that you gave
click-clack.
me a good segue. It's Respawn and the Apex Legends developers have been in a bit of trouble this week. So anyone that's been playing Apex Legends or is aware of Apex Legends would know about the Iron Crown event that's going on now. I'll just read a bit of this here. So the title of the article is Apex Legends developers spark outrage after calling gamers.
I mean, it's not okay, but I don't have to censor
People are pretty unhappy that there's a lot of microtransactions you need to pay for to get the big item in this event. I've read somewhere that it's up to £130, which is like 7 million Australian dollars, but it's a lot of money. And so there was a community manager, the Respawn community manager called JFresh.
He got in way later, though.
Respawn project lead, DK05. So they've hopped on the Reddit where people were complaining about it and basically done what the Ooblets developers did a couple of weeks ago that we discussed, except Respawn and EA would almost
Said,
certainly
"Hold
have
my beer."
PR departments. Yes, they did say hold my beer, and they went, cop this. So it got me thinking, this is 2 instances in, a month or so? I wonder if I don't know if they're trying to do this to get people talking about their game. But if they were, it would kind of make sense. A company as big as Respawn doing this seems like maybe, like they should know better.
You going with no publicity is bad publicity? Hang on, what am I saying? No such thing as bad
Any
publicity.
publicity is good publicity.
Right, yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I can kind of see it. I mean, it's not like EA is unfamiliar with controversy around microtransactions, right?
Yep. And this is going to be a niche reference that not everyone will get, but Mike Jones and Chameleonaire released a rap album called Controversy Sells right after they had a massive beef. It was a combination album, I think, like where they were together as a group and then they got mad at each other and then they released the album called Controversy Sells. Anyway, that's totally side to the issue we're talking about here. Do you think that they've done this on purpose? Or do you think maybe some developers have gone off the rails a bit and probably got written up for it?
I mean, look, I'm sure they got a talking to about this, because even if you were going to do this, you would do it in a slightly more controlled way without using the words that if I said would get I'm poppied. Right?
I don't have enough poppy sound bites.
Yeah, we're gonna have to use the the saxophone.
Gonna have to break into the vault, man. I haven't been listening because I've been reading comments on Reddit. Keep going without me.
Okay, so looking at how they've done this, I mean, look, this stirring up controversy is one thing, right? But they could have easily done that with just the announcement that they were doing this. Going into a Reddit thread and starting a flame war, basically, around, calling people entitled and complaining about people and mocking people's reading comprehension skills. I mean...
Yeah, well, he couldn't read. I mean...
Yeah.
That...
I mean, it's Reddit, so... I don't know. I feel like even if this was, like, they were trying to... I wonder if it's a similar thing to the Ooblets, where maybe they would try... Normally you would try to downplay this kind of thing, but by doing so, they made it worse. So maybe they've gone the opposite direction and said, let's just jump in front of it, just be as horrible as possible. It all moves on in the next news cycle anyway. In the meantime, please spend £140 on all these loot boxes and this item that you can only get once you have all the items.
Yeah. It just got me thinking, and I just lost that train of thought has left the station.
Hello, Discord.
Oh, there you go. There's your weekly Discord notification from the ChinDocta.
Let's see who that was. It was Jester again. It's always Jester.
He knows when we're
Which
recording.
one talk team tactics?
Yeah. So,
Oh, yes, actually. All right, the train came back into the station. That's real good. Do you both think that gamers are entitled?
Oh, boy, is that a loaded question. I guess not to get too artsy-fartsy about it, but video games are essentially an art form created by a group of people, right? So the game itself is only... The art is what they create.
half of the... Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly. So they make the product, they put it out, you either like the product or you don't, and that's pretty much the end of it. Now that we've got into the culture where people want to talk about video games and, you can change things or you can update stuff, you get into discussion. I mean, this was a big thing around when Mass Effect 3 came out with the ending, is that people were so unhappy with the ending that they just lobbied against BioWare to just basically update it. But I don't know, and there was
it becomes
like what does the game belong to the people who made it or the people who play it?
And at that point, I jump in and say, art. So creating art is only half of it. Once you've put it out there and it's interpreted, that becomes the other half.
Right.
You may have just wanted to draw a blue sky. If everyone else in the world sees something more than that, then that's kind of what it becomes. Whether or not that's what you intended. In this case, whether they then have the right to expect the game to change to their expectations is a slightly different matter. I think expecting it to change would kind of make you entitled if the thing wasn't completely broken. Like the only game I can think of recently is, and it's not even that recent, Agony. Agony was an awful game, completely broken mess. Expecting that to get fixed is not entitlement. Having a fixed game, a technically not broken game, and expecting something to change because you don't like the way they do the thing, that starts to become entitled to me.
Yeah. I think the thing is that the word entitlement has a negative connotation to it, when really all it means is that you deserve something, right? And when it comes to video games, and so like we're talking about the splitting between creation of art and consuming of art, you put business on top of that, and so then you say, okay, I paid money for this, I expect this. And it's like, okay, well, then that gets a bit blurry, because it's like, well, you can expect all you want, but you have to kind of know what you're getting into. But also, you don't exactly know what you're getting into when you buy something, because a game it's not like a piece of art that you can just look at. A game is an experience that you have to sit through, and it affects people differently. And then you add on top of the fact that essentially this is a free-to-play game, and most people aren't paying for it. So,
and then does that make them less? They have less of a voice than someone who has paid his $10 to get a skin.
Right, exactly. And the thing is, if it was you either play a free version of the game or you pay for the game, that might be a bit clearer. But now it's like, okay, everyone plays for free. Some people put money in for things within the game, but does that make their opinion more valid than the people who just play the game? Because, I mean, the game itself doesn't change.
Played for 5 times as long as the person who bought the thing, got bored of it a bit later, and then stopped playing.
Exactly.
I think that the person who's like the whales that they talk about, I think that in a game like this, their opinion carries infinitely more weight.
Oh,
if you're a known
to the developer,
whale,
yes, because they're the ones who will keep putting up money.
Yeah, 100%. And so in that argument, me who's never played it, come along and play it and go, oh, I don't like how this is. Like, yeah, all right, mate, whatever. But if I'm someone who spends $1,000 a month on this, we're adding more and more layers to this.
Yeah,
I think that
when you jump into the game as well, if you jump in now, I imagine for most games of live service models, it's reasonably different to launch. Mm-hmm. Things have been balanced. Things have been so. does someone who maybe hasn't played, you play 100 hours now in a row because you're crazy, as opposed to someone who played 50 hours over the 6 months since it launched? Does that mean your opinion matters more because you played more? Or there's sort of, they've seen how it's grown and changed, so they have a better understanding of it, even though they've played less?
And just to add a little bit more to it, you also need to think about the developers, what they put weighting towards, and then what the publisher, EA, who owns them, puts their weighting towards, because those two might actually be completely different.
Yeah, and Respawn had initially said that EA weren't involved in any way, shape, or form. This kind of feels like EA's put its hands in, especially given how weak Anthem's launch was, and everything following that launch. Yeah. Maybe they are like, well, this is doing okay, let's get some revenue going from this, let's generate some more revenue from this, and then we can look at our other titles. Speaking of, I'm going to add a story. Continue discussing. I'm going to add a story after this. I'm just going to
read this one comment, and bear in mind we're taking this with no context around it, but DKO5 said, I've been in the industry long enough to remember when players weren't complete a-holes to developers, and it was pretty neat. I forged a bunch of long-lasting relationships from back then. Would be awesome to get back there and not engaging with toxic people or asking how high when a mob screams jump is hopefully a start. I guess my thoughts on the entitlement is that I think that people in general, and I don't know if I want to say especially gamers, but I think gamers have a higher propensity to be entitled. I think people generally now are far more entitled than I remember, and you're expected in many industries to bend to everyone's whim, and then they'll throw a line at you like, oh, the customer's always right. No, they're not. You know? But I think that it's become a far worse kind of issue with gaming, is because gamers have not only the power that normal people do to not purchase whatever the thing is, but they also have many other avenues, like on social media, to not just say what they think to their followers, but find the developer, the companies, everything like that. They can review bomb them on Steam, on Xbox, on PlayStation, everywhere. The gamers have got a lot of power, and I think that, you know, if we want to be taken more seriously in some circles, for example, when Trump comes along and says violent video games are a problem, and you go, well, no, they're not. And then he goes, well, have a look that you review bombed this 5-year-old game because there's sequels coming out on Epic Games. Kind of has a point.
Yeah, I get where you're going with it. And to some extent I agree, but I also feel like it also ties in with what you see versus what you didn't see back in the day. And I think that's, you know, him waxing nostalgic about how it used to be, that, you know, you put out a game and you forge great communities of people, and you basically just get surrounded by a bunch of yes men who tell you your game's great, and you just, you know, you live in that bubble. And you put out a game and you release some DLC for it, an update, and they don't expect the game to change. But I think what the Apex developers or Respawn are forgetting is that they have a live service game. They are they put out a game for free with the express purpose of trying to get as much money out of it as possible to keep the game going. If they don't want feedback, they're in the wrong. They've chosen the wrong industry and the wrong part of it.
Yes,
right. You're like
100%.
It's like going. It's like you know, going to being a comedian and people not liking your jokes. And you're like, oh, well, I can't handle criticism. And if people don't laugh, what do I do? And it's like, well, clearly you're not cut out for this. And obviously, like, some people will take it to the extreme, as always. But I think about it like the way that we look at crime rates. So people talk about how since the 90s, crime rates have been going down. But if you ask anybody who watches TV and watches the news who doesn't know that fact, they would almost certainly say, well, I hear more about crime, I see more about crime, this is a more evident thing because it's in my face all the time, everywhere. And I think that's part of how it is for gamers as well, because when you say gamers, you can't, if we're talking, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that's a real niche. Like you could cut people out and say, well, they're gamers. They have this hobby and it's a bit niche from what everyone else does. But gaming is so widespread and is in so many. I mean, everyone plays video games at some level. At least in my generation, for sure. I mean, maybe not as extreme as we do, but it's a part of so many people's lives. I mean, even if it's just playing FIFA and Madden and the occasional Call of Duty game, that it's like when you say gamers are entitled, it's like, well, I think maybe you're right. Maybe it's just people are entitled, and it's just that they just happen to be.
People are now gamers.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, so it's maybe it's not that the gamers got more entitled. It's just that more people who were entitled became gamers. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, my last thought on this will be, I think that people get so entitled or appear so entitled because they really care about the games. They really want to come in and pay their money, whether it's full price or sale price, and they want to feel like they've got value for money and had a good experience. And when they don't get that, that's when you get the toxic gamers and the entitlement going, this wasn't what I wanted. And the fact is that the developers simply cannot make everyone happy, from the gamers who pay money, the gamers who don't pay money, the EA at the top, the developer. You can't. It's a totally unenviable job.
Mm. Yeah.
Having said that, I would say going on and calling them the D word and the A word is probably not the best way to handle it.
It's a bit out there.
Circling back to that, I don't think we ever explained why they were really aggressive towards the community.
We glazed over it, but
so essentially
by all means.
The Iron Curtain event had 24 Iron Crown. Sorry, I'm thinking of
that was a while ago, Chen.
It's an Artifacts Monday game. Curtain of Irony, Matryoshka, and I think. Anyway, not the point. Essentially had 24 loot box items that were exclusive to the event, and then, so I believe the loot boxes themselves were 700 credits of whatever the premium currency was. You purchased one, you would get one from that pool, and then, so that item, say you got a legendary skin for one of the characters, that item would be taken out of the pool. So now there's 23 items left. You have to keep purchasing loot boxes. You'll get an item every time from that pool, but it'll be, you may not get exactly what you want the first time. And then after you purchase them all, you unlock the ability to purchase an heirloom rated, or whatever, like it's a higher than legendary or whatever, axe, which is a melee weapon. I think, again, I don't play Apex, I'm not 100% sure, but there's a super rare axe, and that costs an extra amount of credits on top. I believe it was like 1,000 credits. So each individual loot box plus the axe costs about 170 US, 130 pound-ish in the UK. And the issue was, I think the main issue was people were annoyed that they couldn't just get the thing they wanted. Not necessarily the axe. I think they understood that the axe was super rare, but I just want this legendary skin for this character, the only character I play, and previously I could buy it, I could just buy it. I didn't have to go through the loot box. Why do I have to go through the loot box now? And then they issued an apology and said, we made a mistake, this was wrong to do it this way when we promised that we wouldn't do it this way. And then that's when people attacked them for that apology and they got defensive. So I figured that was probably worth mentioning it.
Yeah, no, that's that. Just for some context around that, I just
probably should have led with that.
Yeah, probably. I think I'll cut
just
that bit at the
splice
front.
it around. It's fine. You got it.
Just bits and pieces.
Just one last thing I just want to think about. The one thing I want to be careful of here, though, is I don't want us to feel like we're apologizing for EA, right? Because obviously a lot of this behavior is not great on either side, on the developers or the community. But this level of quote-unquote entitlement that people feel about, EA is one of those companies that have been screwing people on things like this for years, for generations of consoles, right? So the kind of people who cause this kind of fervor and this behavior when things go wrong, like looking at, Need for Speed Payback with their loot boxes, and Forza,
the EA game.
Yeah, but exactly. Yeah, basically all the EA games. Star Wars Battlefront 2, that sort of stuff. All right, all of those games, they all just have, they've all been stoking people up and trying to nickel and dime them to make just people, as soon as they see something that's not quite right, they just jump on it because they just, they're so angry all the time. So like while I feel it wasn't the best approach for them to do that, I also don't really feel too bad for EA, because they're the ones who kind of got us into this. One of the people who got into this situation in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I definitely am not trying to defend EA. Chin, you're talking about another story here, so you just added it in. Why don't you tell everyone what it's all about?
So there's some marginally related to EA. So BioWare have lost another, because the day before this senior producer who was working on the upcoming Dragon Age game left. So Dragon Age has lost a lead producer. The day before that, Ben Irving, who was a lead producer on Anthem, also left the studio. It just feels like BioWare is going into a downward spiral, and I'm concerned that it is going to be the next Visceral Studios.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought when you put this article in. And I think that at least their downward trend started with Mass Effect Andromeda. Then Anthem came.
Some would even say Dragon Age Inquisition.
Well, I haven't played that, and I didn't hear that much about it. I'm not a fan of
It's
BioWare
okay.
games
It's not fantastic,
but
yeah.
It's.
You can
I
definitely
feel
argue
like.
where. Sorry.
I wonder if this Dragon Age game is. Like, if this flops, that's 3 in a row. 3 big flops in a row.
Yeah.
Like you said, at what point does, BioWare suffer the curse of EA and get shut down?
So, one of the interesting things you brought up, Visceral Games. One of the theories about why Visceral Games got shut down so suddenly and out of nowhere was because of Respawn, actually. So, the talk was that Respawn said that they were going to go independent. They put up and EA basically got first right. They said that, okay, hey EA, we've had our deal with Titanfall. We want to go off and be an independent studio, and we'll go with another publisher. So they gave EA first right of refusal, and EA said, okay, no, we need to hold on to you because we've already devoured all of our other studios, and we need a shooter. And DICE can't make something every year. So we need to keep you on board. So they end up having to liquidate some assets to be able to afford to pay the exorbitant price for Respawn. And apparently that seemed to coincide quite interestingly with the close of Visceral. Now, I'm sure that they were potentially already looking at closing Visceral, right? I mean, Visceral weren't having a great time. What was the last thing they put out was Battlefield Hardline, which did not do very well.
That was a good game.
It was a decent game.
I liked it. It
doesn't
didn't
really
feel like
the
Battlefield,
thing
but
you would
it was
get
fun.
Visceral to do, though.
Mm.
Like, given their track record, going, yeah, you're going to make the next Battlefield game. I don't know. That doesn't really.
It doesn't really.
And I get, you should just be able. The argument, you should just be able to make whatever you're told to make. No.
Yeah.
After making 2 atmospheric action horror games, and then whatever the Dead Space 3 was, it's not quite the same as making a really popular first-person shooter.
That reminds me of Resident Evil. So you have Resident Evil, atmospheric kind of tension horror games. Then you have Resident Evil 5, which kind of still was, and then Resident Evil 6, which was basically a horror shooter.
It was an action movie, basically, with some zombies.
Yeah, exactly. And it was at that point, if you put the 2 timelines together, it's at that point that Visceral got closed down. They didn't get their chance at redemption like Resident Evil did with Resident Evil 7.
Did you know what the worst thing about that is, though? Is that Resident Evil 6 was one of their best-selling ones out of those ones you just mentioned.
Really?
Yeah.
Really. That's the sad thing.
4 and 7
It's
were
just
the
like,
best.
why can't,
1 was okay.
why can't you just make a game that people like, or a series that people like, and it doesn't have to appeal to everyone?
Well, that's the video game publisher problem, right? Is that they can't just make some of the money; they got to make all the money.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
so
that's right.
they tried really hard to make Dead Space a mainstream game. Dead Space 3, sorry. So
Yeah.
Dead Space 1 and 2 were niche. They fit into their niche little category and did well in their niche little category. And then they kind of... I mean, that was when they had a premium currency as well introduced to the game in Dead Space 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Did they?
Yeah, they started. That's where they started putting microtransactions, and you could buy weapon parts for building a workbench. And then they put in co-op, and then they put in you fought people instead of just the necromorphs.
Yeah.
It was a departure for
So
sure.
let's circle back to our original story. Spelling bad news for BioWare. All right, let me ask you this. Do you think in 5 years' time that BioWare will still be open for business?
Maybe, but maybe not in the form that it is now. I think it might end up being a support studio for somewhere else, like so many of other EA studios.
Jin, what do you reckon? Make a bold prediction.
I don't think they'll get this Dragon Age out. I don't even think they'll make it that far. Maybe, maybe they get liquidated and turned into some kind of juice to make the EA execs live longer, but... or maybe they just get... The company gets broken up and they get put into different teams or whatever, and what a normal person would do. But the vampires at EA will probably drink them.
Yeah. I have a feeling they're going to be gone, which is unfortunate. I mean, not that their games are for me, but I know there's a lot of people out there that love their games, and they just want another hit of that game. Why don't they do a remastered trilogy of Mass Effect?
Yeah, there was
get a bit of confidence back.
I remember that
Get a cash in.
the talk around that was that originally they were doing a remaster for this generation. And what ended up happening was that's exactly when Microsoft announced that they were going to do backwards compatibility for all their old games. And suddenly they said, oh, well, we can't really do a remaster if people can just play the old version on the new console. So I guess we'll just cancel it. And then Capcom was like, hey, hold my beer. I'm not going to make any of my games
I was just
back.
about to say that.
Yeah, never going to make any of my games backwards compatible. You have to buy all of them all over again, and they're exactly the same.
I was just about to say Capcom. Yeah. 100%.
But you're right. I mean, next generation would be a perfect time to do a remaster of the Mass Effect trilogy, or I mean, even the first 3 Dragon Ages you could do as well, just to get some cash in the bank.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I forgot about the Dragon Ages. You could do both of them,
People didn't
release
like
it at
to, did they?
$30. What's that?
People didn't like Dragon Age 2, did they?
Yeah, okay. Look, Dragon Age 2 was massively
I loved
unfinished.
it.
I could do a whole episode on that, but it's an interesting game, and it's 100% unfinished and really feels like a large DLC pack for the original game. But I won't get into it.
I enjoyed it because it was like baby's first Dragon Age. It was real simple and streamlined, and that's what I need. I like super expensive RPG like Dragon Age 1 or whatever. I just... There's too much. There's too much for me. My small brain can't handle it. Dragon Age 2 was like baby's first Dragon. It was perfect. I really enjoyed it.
You
Maybe
saw
if
it
I go
on,
back
man.
now. I just got to pick whatever class I wanted and did some spells or did some stabbing, and that was it. It was great. Made out with some dudes or some chicks if you wanted. It's open to whatever.
Right.
Punted a dwarf.
Let's transition to the last story. So, one that, Chin, you'll be very excited about because you love this game. But
Very.
Ori and the Blind Forest is coming to the Nintendo Switch. It's confirmed to have achievements as well. So,
Yes. We don't know if it's a stack. We assume it's going to be a stack because we have no evidence that they could do a shared list over the 2 different infrastructures. So we're assuming stack. Even if it doesn't have a stack, maybe I get it because I really like the game and I can play it portably.
Yeah. So I think that's like we've been talking about this alleged good buddy-buddy relationship between Nintendo and Microsoft. Here's another example of it. And I think that it bodes really well, and I've said this before, for both Nintendo and Microsoft. I think it bodes really well to have some of the games that Microsoft have come across to the Nintendo Switch. And a game like this, it just suits the Switch, I think, to a T.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of the comments are complaining that, oh, Nintendo are getting everything and Xbox isn't getting anything. I don't care. I don't, like, it would be nice to get some Nintendo stuff, but we're not losing anything.
Yeah.
I feel like the idea is that because we're not gaining anything from this directly, clearly, visibly, we're losing, as opposed to they're just getting something extra.
I feel like the problem in that sentence is that people are saying we are losing, and it's like, well, no, Microsoft is giving something to another thing. You are not Microsoft. Do not give your loyalty to a company that does not care about you. Just own all the consoles. Play whatever works better for you. I know we're mainly Xbox focused, which makes sense, but you have to remember that it's like it doesn't actually matter. If more people play the games, you have more people to talk about games. Like it's just a good thing. And Ori is
a whole nother conversation.
Ori is such a good game that should be experienced by more people.
Yeah, past the tree level. Just get past the tree level and then you're fine.
Yeah.
Look, I get it. It was a little bit of a jump in difficulty. Just get past the tree level, you'll be fine.
I mean, the only thing...
I'll be playing that tree level offline when I go play it until I can get through.
Yeah, you see, the only thing I'm salty about is that it's the definitive edition, so I can't cheese my way through the no death speed runs.
Yeah, because they don't have cloud saves on the wall. I don't know. You pay for that $5 Nintendo Online for a year or something, whatever it is. I don't know how cloud saves will work there. We'll see. But no, I don't have a problem with it. I will definitely be able to do it again.
I guess the last thing I want to talk about before we move on from this is I wonder when the door opens for like cross progression between your consoles, if they do that kind of thing.
Again, it depends on that shared list situation. If it's a stack, no chance, because I say no chance, but it's not likely.
I don't think there's no chance, because I mean, you used to be able to import your saves from like Xbox 360 games into Xbox One games, and they're not the same game, and even not the same game. Like Borderlands 2, reading your Borderlands 1 saves. I might be getting those two mixed up.
No, you're good.
They're on the same console, but I think that the infrastructure probably exists. How easy it is, I don't know, but it exists.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, it's probably possible. I mean, whether they want to do it or not is a whole other thing, right?
Just how good mates they want to end up being with Nintendo.
Exactly.
And how good mates Nintendo want to be with Microsoft, I guess.
And this is another interesting point. If we start seeing, like, especially indie games coming across, so you've got ones that come across that have Xbox lists. If you bought them on the Xbox and they happen to already have a release on the Switch, so, for example, Stardew Valley or something along those lines, right? Stardew Valley, suddenly you can play it on both. If you buy it on the Xbox, can I play it on the Switch, or do I have to buy it there as well, even if it has Xbox Live support?
Yeah, that's the thing. What do they say? Cross-platform play? So you can play together. Cross-progression and cross-purchase.
Right.
Wow. Why do they all have to be that abbreviation?
Cross-progression is basically the only thing XPA has going for it.
Yeah, true.
And cross-purchase, but, I mean, even if it's a shared list, a lot of Windows 10 games will not share saves. So... what am I...
But they can. They can.
Tacoma, I think, off the top of my head, is a non-Xbox Play Anywhere that has one list between the Xbox and Windows 10 versions, but the saves are separate.
Interesting.
So if you play on your Xbox, you have to start over again if you start playing on the PC.
I mean, I'm sure there'll be interesting kinks to work out, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on this very closely, because this looks like this could be big.
Yeah, well, I'm getting a Switch for my birthday, so I will definitely be picking this up as well as Minecraft and probably Fire Emblem and Smash and stuff. It's been a long time coming for this Switch. I've been putting it off.
What about Gunman Clive 1 and 2?
Well, I have to only if Chocolate still has a code. I'm sure he's still got a code. But
They put a code out at the end of one show. They talked about it like 5 shows later. Like, I don't know if anyone redeemed that code.
I'm sure Chocolate still has a code he can give me, and I'll probably beat it before him.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, why don't you tell everyone what happened in G-Task this week?
Yep, that's a thing I do.
Switching it up.
Yep, that's a Chin thing.
So we are in period
8 now.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm on it. I can count one more than 7.
It just didn't sound like you had it, so I helped.
I definitely didn't have it. The bonus for this week falls onto the team side, and that is to earn double the true achievement points that you did in period 7. Not true achievement difference. This is true achievement points for the team. So if your team as a whole earned 3,000 true achievement points, you will need to earn at least 6,000 as a team. Ooh. If one of your members wants to do all the work, that's fine. Not an issue. As long as the team total is more than double of last week's team total. In our solo side, the cutoff was 502. Our lowest Regisser. No, I gotta think of a better one. The lowest community member was Angel SK, who was 29 above the drop with 531 true achievement difference. That's Professor
not
Pluto,
me.
who
Not
waited
me.
until 25 minutes before the period ended
Less.
to pop.
10 minutes.
10
Nice.
minutes.
Yep. There was, who was it? Was it Shadow and...
Hatton and Shadow, probably.
Jester. Oh, no, it was Hatton and What the Fug.
Yeah.
They were both in there. And
we,
everyone was in
we were
multiple
watching your
Discords
descent into madness.
adding me going, oh, he's near the line. Oh, he's below the line.
12 spots
oh, he's
down.
gone. He's gone.
9
so what I
spots
did is
down.
I hopped on. I just
Died once
pumped
in zero
one
out, which
achievement
would've been
out.
easy for
Hoped
you.
it was enough. Yeah. And I got from... I reckon I was probably 5 points ahead of Angel. So, yeah. But I was lucky. So I've just got to get to period 10. Is it get to period 10?
You just need to make it to period 10, so survive 2 more periods. Period 9, you can burn all your bonuses, which you've clearly
how many
accrued.
bonuses are going to be used? In period
all
9?
of the bonuses, right,
my God,
Alex?
so many.
You have one more
50%
chance at a
of people
bonus
use
next week. Wait. No,
Yeah.
next week is the week that... Well, you can't use earn the bonus next week. It won't matter, because you have to survive next week.
Oh, boy. All right,
So
let's keep going on.
The bonus
So
you
the
win next
solo
week
high.
will be no value to you. Our
Yeah, well.
highest community member was Ellafilette77, who had 4,387 true achievement difference. He was in 18th spot.
That is ridiculous.
Great.
I didn't see what he
That's
played.
So good.
I probably should have.
I thought for sure that I was going to have top spot this week. Oh, man.
Yeah? Oh.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know where you were. It's still a lot of people in solo. I can't... the gaps between community members is still quite large, even though it's probably only a few points. We did have one person get knocked out on solo side. Brett43. Bad luck, buddy. You didn't quite make it to week 9. Probably didn't even care about the badge, though, so it's alright. Let's be honest, not many of us do. On the team side, the cutoff was 2,090. I think it's interesting that the cutoff is more than 3 times solo side. Like you'd sort of think maybe that pattern, that trend would, but not way higher. Our lowest team was the American Scorer Society. That was the team of Matriarch, Big L, and Stan.
Of course, they have that acronym.
Yeah. They were 256 above drop, which was at 2,346 true achievement difference. Our high team was Magic Hat Mark's Elephant Training Club, which is Mark B, Hatton 90, and Ellafilette 77 in 16th spot with 7,423 true achievement difference. We did have a team get knocked out, but it's right, team side doesn't matter, so we're all gravy. Just missing Tatey, Keith 271179, McLovin Legend 1, and Buck Marley 155.
That's the UK guys, I think.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Buck Marley is a Spurs supporter, so I'm
Oh,
kind of
wow.
glad he got knocked out.
I was going to say he's probably used to being eliminated then.
Yeah.
Oh, boys. Just
Never
getting
went in
stuck
expecting
into
to win. He's like, fourth place, come on. And then still disappointed.
And I was 27th last week, so don't know.
You're only 9 spots out.
Yeah, nearly.
Nearly.
I mean, there's a good 500 TA difference in there, so not really.
But that was the G-Test roundup. I feel like we should have a jingle.
I was going to say that, so that's our new sense of sound.
Yep, that's the music to introduce the G-Task roundup every week. Make a clip of that, please, Jim.
All right.
I'm
on it.
We're going to go over to the review. So a game that I've been pretty interested in is Stranger Things 3, the game. So Prue and Mighty Mango took the time to review it this past week. So they're going to tell you all about it right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's review. I am Prue, and joining me as always is Mighty Mango. How are you?
I am doing well, sir.
All right. So, in time for the summer season, we got to play a summertime game.
Yes, we did. We got to play Stranger Things 3, the game, which was developed and published by Bonus XP.
I've never heard of them.
It released on, what day is that? July 4th, 2019, so the same day as the season did.
Yep.
For $19.99.
So, are you a Stranger Things fan?
I am a Stranger Things fan. I actually just finished watching season 3 like last week.
Oh, excellent.
I don't binge watch. I kind of do the slow burn.
Yeah, I haven't. I am a fan as well, but I haven't. We haven't watched the third season yet. Although now, since I played the game, I now know what happens. So, in your experience, does the game mirror the show pretty faithfully?
I think the cutscenes do. Mm-hmm. The part where Mike walks around with a baseball bat, I don't really remember him walking around with a baseball bat.
That's fair.
But for the most part, yeah, it kind of follows suit.
Okay. All right. So, So I guess what kind of game would you classify this? I mean, it's a top like isometric.
It's an isometric action adventure.
Yeah, almost in the vein of. It feels like a Final Fight kind of game.
Kind of, but it has like RPG elements.
It's way less combat oriented, but it feels like the movement and all of that. And I would argue possibly like Metroidvania Light as well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because
there's definitely areas you can't go to right away.
Yeah, so you unlock the different characters, the different kids and stuff from the show as you play through the game, and a lot of the stuff you can't get to until you've unlocked the appropriate character with that ability. So there's stuff that I missed completely in going through the game that I wouldn't know you can't get until you get the last character unlocked. So yeah, Metroidvania Light.
Which is annoying because it's one of those things where you're like, hey, I know I see that thing. I know I can get it.
Yeah.
Why can't I get it? Oh, it's going to be this kind of element in the game. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You'll see a lot of bolted up fences, chain link fences, and a lot of vents that you can't go into until you're like 3/4 done with the game. So
yeah, at the beginning you see the combination locks that you can't do.
Yep. Yeah. So, you know what? I had a good time overall. I'd say with the game, it's fun. It's very simple, and it kind of, I would say, wears thin after about maybe halfway through the game.
Yeah, I can't imagine playing it for 20-25 hours. It'd be a little repetitive.
Yeah, so I beat the game once, and you have to beat the game twice for the achievements. So I'm only missing one achievement, and it's for the new game plus mode, whatever it's called. I think it's called elimination mode, which is a permanent death mode. So if one of your characters dies, you no longer have access to that character. However, you can play it on easy. It's a separate mode, so you can choose the difficulty. So you can still lose. There's a few times in the game you can kind of insta-die. But other than that, I don't think it would be too hard.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either, because you have plenty of opportunities to get health and run away, and it's
mostly I would say it's a pretty easy game overall.
Do you think though it would cater to fans that don't like the show or haven't watched the show?
I don't know. It's fine as a game, as a standalone game. It doesn't it obviously is a big heaping of fan service, because that's all that's really.
Well, that's what it seems like to me. It seems like a lot of fan service, where if you have the connection and attachment to the characters, you get to play as them.
Yeah.
I don't know if it really catered to those that aren't into Stranger Things. It may seem like, what's the big deal with this character? Why is this character this way? Why is this one chick doing things with her mind? I don't get it.
Yeah, I would actually say that much like the later half of the game, even if you are a fan of the show, if you're removed of all that context, I would imagine the game would be pretty boring, pretty dull.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Because the actual like minute-to-minute gameplay is mostly fetch questing, and I guess dungeon running, you would call it. You go through a lot of hallways with guys you just have to kill, and the combat.
Yeah, I would say that, because even the forest areas are dungeon-esque.
And the combat never evolves beyond hit your attack button. So you just go and you hit your attack button, and I mean there's a shield, but you don't really even need it. And
yeah, I'd never even used it.
There's special ability. Every character has a special ability, but you don't really need them. You can just go up and mash A, and you'll get through pretty much every fight, except I think the final boss. So it's kind of monotonous after a while.
See, I haven't played it all the way through yet, so I don't know who they actually decide to put as the final boss, but I've watched the whole season, so I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Yes, we will not. We won't say any spoilers here.
No spoilers.
You know, the one thing I thought was strange, and this isn't really a knock against the game per se, but Stranger Things is sort of a celebration of 80s nostalgia and culture, and this game feels like a Super Nintendo game out of 1994.
Yeah, it's too new for the era.
Yeah. So it's like weird, because it's like giving me like conflicting vibes. I'm like, this is like, it's definitely 16-bit type graphics and gameplay, but that's not at all what the show is about. It feels really, really strange to me that they kind of chose to do it that way. But
so Stranger Things is strange.
Ooh,
ah.
Do you want to talk about the achievements?
Let's talk about the achievements. We've got 31 achievements for 1,000 Gamerscore. Of course, 1,000 Gamerscore. 964 tracked gamers have the game. 64 have completed it. So not a lot have finished the game. But I think it's more because of the repetitiveness and probably the collectibles.
So I have the collectible achievement. It's actually pretty chill, because all you have to... So you go through the game and there's these gnomes. And I think just naturally finding them throughout the world, I had about half of them. There's 50. And I had about half of them by the time I finished my first playthrough. Fortunately, the collectible tracker is awesome. The collectibles are both named and numbered. And so you just look up the list and you're like, oh, here's this one, here's this one, here's this one. At the end of the game, you can go back, even after you beat the game, you can go back to all those areas that you missed. It took me about, less than an hour to complete those collectibles. So really, really easy. Honestly...
So probably it's the New Game Plus that's kept a lot of people from beating it, because they don't want to play through it again.
Yes, it's
another one of those lovely games where you have to play through it twice.
Yep, and it's the only achievement that I don't have, and I even started the New Game Plus mode, and I'm still like waffling on whether I really want to go through it. The game's not that long. I think I beat it under 6 hours my first time through, and I'm sure the second time through will be even quicker.
So probably about a 10, 12-hour game, you think?
I'd say 10, yeah. But it's just like, it's really hard to be motivated when there's only one achievement that you're missing, and it's 4 hours worth of work.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of the achievements are basically story progression and then unlocking characters, which the unlocking characters are also story progression.
Yeah, it's a really straightforward list. There's nothing missable at all. Like you said, I'm pretty sure everything you'll unlock on the way except the collectibles, which you can go right back in and get anyways. And then the final achievement, which is for the New Game Plus mode. And so It's a pretty straightforward list. It's at 1700 TA right now. I imagine it'll probably stay around there, because people just don't want to go back and be bothered to do that second playthrough.
No, I'm one of those people. I don't like playing a game through twice, even though I've played Batman Arkham Asylum 6 times.
I guess we'll call that something different. But
so that's different. But overall, I enjoyed it. It's not a bad game at all. I think if you're into like a little bit of adventuring and hack and slash, I think you might enjoy it.
Yeah, and yeah, if you're a big fan of the show too, maybe wait 6 months and then play it just to get a little bit of that Stranger Things feeling while we're waiting for season 4 or whatever's next.
And me being that I actually watched the entire season before I played the game, so it's kind of like, oh yeah, I remember this part. Oh yeah. If you're really into the show, really into the show, watch the show first. But if you're really into the show, you probably watched it already anyway. But I would say watch the show before you play the game, unless you want the show to kind of be spoiled a little bit for you.
Oh yeah, definitely not just a little bit. There's things that happen in the game that I was surprised by. I'm like, I don't mind spoilers, but it's like, oh okay, I guess that thing happened.
Yeah.
So there's definitely, they don't hold back for sure.
No, not at all.
All right, I think that's it. I think a pretty decent game, and $20 for the game.
Yep, $19.99.
Maybe a little on the high side, but if it's on sale and you're really, really itching for some Stranger Things, you could do worse.
Yeah, I think 15 might have been the good point.
Yeah,
probably for the content that you get.
I would say so too. All right, well, I guess that was it for Stranger Things 3: The Game. So we'll throw it back to you guys.
All right, well, thanks for that review there, guys. I'm actually looking forward to playing Stranger Things 3 myself. Kirby, what have you been playing this week?
Well, it's been a little bit quiet. I did a bit of
What is this first game here? What is this first game you've written?
Doom and Destiny. They're not two separate games. It's one game.
Oh,
I didn't play Doom and then also Destiny. It's a game called Doom and Destiny. Sorry for getting your hopes up. I still don't know what the hell an Archvile is.
Archviles are legitimately the worst. There are those enemies that bring other enemies back to life.
Yes, it's like a teleportation gate in the shape of an arch made of vials.
I'm
aware of this.
Yep.
I made a joke earlier about it. I know what the creature is.
I didn't get it. I still don't get it.
Do you know my favorite thing about inside jokes is that it forces people to go back and listen to the old episodes to know what we're talking about.
Yep. I can't tell you what episode that was on, so just listen to all of them starting from 1. It was definitely somewhere in the mid 1 to 50.
Narrow it down.
Definitely somewhere in there.
All right, well, tell us how good of a game Doom is.
I wouldn't know.
Well, I mean, if you can get past the login screen.
Aww.
Which you can now, so that's good.
Okay,
All
so
right.
Doom and Destiny is it's a turn-based RPG. So
Are you big on turn-based RPGs?
Well, this one's okay. Not really. I mean, this is properly turn-based, as opposed to active time battle turn-based that I didn't quite get as a child.
Like Child of Light? Is that the one you're
Child
talking
of
about?
Light's a bit... Yeah, Child of Light's kind of.
Okay.
Except...
Probably the only thing I've played like that.
In Child
that
of
you're
Light,
talking about.
your enemy still... The gauge still moves as you're deciding on your move, right? Unless you change your setting.
You can change it, I think.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah. So this is pure turn-based. You are playing as 4 characters whose name I can't remember, but they're red, green, blue, and yellow. Different colours.
Very good.
The yellow one is a pirate. He's your healer. Red one is a fighter. He's your tank. The green one is a ninja, and the blue one is a mage. But I just decided to give them all melee weapons because it's way quicker. So they all just punch. Even the mage, she just goes up and punches things in the face, and they eventually die. So for the random to-do list, I had to play through pretty much the entire game. There are 7 chapters in the game. I had to get to essentially the end of chapter 6. It's very trope heavy. So all of Act 5 was sort of Mario themed. You enter essentially a Mario level, and like the monsters, Mario is in there. Mario, the Italian plumber. Then there's some Koopa monsters and stuff like that. There's a Legend of Zelda themed world where you kind of go into a top-down view and you're in a forest and go into a cave and take some weapons and stuff. It's really, really weird, but pretty good game. Reasonably easy once you set the difficulty down. The walkthrough is pretty good on True Achievements, but again, they do it properly and have the mage casting spells and stuff. I'm just going to give him a high strength weapon and level up his strength and make him punch enemies. Because, it's way quicker. Because I hold down left trigger, and it just speeds through the combat, like automatically selecting attack, and they just it's quicker. Yeah. It's pretty fun. So the Act 6 was Dragon Ball. So the achievement I needed to get was to collect 6 Dragon Balls to learn the Super Ultimate Technique, which once I'd brought them back, I was like, the Super Ultimate Technique was the journey that you took to get these Dragon Balls.
The magic was in you all along.
Yeah, the people you met and the conversations you had. And it's like, genuinely thought I was going to get a really cool technique. Kind of disappointed now.
You mean you didn't get a wish?
No, because you need 7 for a wish. And I only gave him
they couldn't just lift it totally, surely. Had to make something slightly different.
The guy I gave it to was pretty much the Turtle Sensei, Master Roshi. It was basically him.
I kind of feel like I have to play this game now.
It's pretty good. I was hesitant at first, looking at it. It kind of, the way the graphics were and stuff, it felt like it wasn't my kind of thing. But the humor's there. Like, you beat up Santa at one point, you know. It's really, I think it's quite enjoyable. Fun game. I can't really, it's hard to describe it any more than it's just a fairly generic turn-based RPG game, but with a pretty good story.
Alright.
Had a boosting session for Crackdown 3 Wrecking Zone over the weekend. Spent both Saturday and Sunday my time on that for like 3 hours both days. Got pretty much everything done. I just have the win 20 matches left. So the group, I mean, it changed over the 2 days because it was kind of impromptu, but is pretty much an AH 101 organised thing. So there was my game share partner Fug was there, Big L, Matriarch. I know Mattism was there, Prue was there, who you heard in the review. It was a pretty big group, pretty fun. But the second day, on the Sunday, my girlfriend was in the room because we have people staying downstairs in, because essentially I basically live in the guest bedroom of the house because it's got a bathroom, so it's easier. I don't have to share a bathroom. I've got people staying up for the PGA tournament that's being held here, I think on the weekend, so they're using the guest bedroom, so we've had to move upstairs to a proper bedroom. So she was in here watching me boost, and I think that was, like, with the conversations we had, your normal boosting stuff, and you talk about stupid things. The best thing that came from that session was my girlfriend going, "Why is he just standing there? Wait, why is he letting you kill him? Why are you playing this game? Do you even like this game?"
Chen, has she met you?
This is the first boosting session she's watched where it's been like a kill trading thing. I think other things I've done were like Zoo Tycoon, where you sort of have a bit of interaction or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, this is the first time she watched a kill trading session. She's like at first I saw the red guy jump in. I'm like, oh, cool, he's going to get in a fight. I'm going to watch. And then he just stood there and you just shot him and killed him. That's boring. Why do you do these things? I'm like, yeah, I feel like you don't know me at all. This is my life. It's like, yeah. Then she's like, do you enjoy it? I'm like, asked everyone in the group, do we enjoy this game? There's pretty much a resounding no.
No, yeah.
No. It's not a good game. It's not a good game. So why are you playing it? Because we started it.
Yep, because it was there. The same reason people climb Everest.
Yep. It's no good reason to, except because it's there. So that was an exciting...
It's totally the same.
Exciting journey into the psyche.
I'm the Sir Edmund Hillary of Gamerscore.
Are you, though?
I mean, New Zealand, and I'm at the high. I'm on top of the mountain, so sure, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Are you number one in New Zealand?
Yes, by quite a bit.
No, there's another guy over a million Gamerscore in New Zealand.
There could be.
I think we maybe have 2 in Australia, but New Zealand definitely has like 7.
Yeah, that's definitely
it. Makes
it
it sound like I'm insulting New Zealand real bad. I'm not. I just know that there's definitely not.
I didn't think there was, but I had to ask because everyone was wanting to know.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You're asking the hard questions. I get it.
Yep. Man, I could be a journalist. It's fine. It's easy.
So that was, it was pretty fun. I got most of it done. There were a couple random, so I got to, as people were doing their stuff, I got to be the random hunter, which was fun. And so a lot of the conversations then turned into, man, this random is awful at this game because I am destroying them. Like, I am terrible at first person of shooters of any kind. I'm like, man, I am just pointing and clicking and they are dying so fast.
Did Mr. Stark follow you from Alien vs. Predator?
No, but Kirby did.
Oh,
so
really?
We had a random on the Saturday. Kirby, Kurby, come in. Level 0, so had never played before. But he was just a menace, and he was actually not terrible, so he was killing people. But then it just demoralized me, because everyone's like, oh, this Kirby guy's such a...
I'm Poppy.
He keeps killing me. God, Kirby sucks. I'm like, can we come up with another name for this random? Because it's really hurting my self-esteem. But yeah, no, a good session though. I highly encourage. Well, no, I hate doing anything with people, but if you have to boost.
So how long did you go for? Because I've still got Wrecking Crew sitting there that I haven't started yet.
I'd essentially done nothing. I think I'd won a game and destroyed some buildings, so I had 2 achievements. It was maybe 2-3 hour sessions, but it's a 6 people minimum to get into a lobby. 10 people to lock down the lobby. It's if everyone's organized, there's 2 game modes. There's territories, which is like a domination. You stand in an area, capture it, and win that way. And Agent Hunter, which is kill confirmed. So those are your 2 game modes. Territories is a lot quicker. Getting it for everyone, because you need to capture a bunch of territories, but everyone can be involved in a capture. So that goes a lot quicker than Agent Hunter, which is a single person racking up the kills and the confirmed. So not too bad though. The people I were playing with had already had some progress. I was one of the few that had pretty much the lowest amount of progress. We had a few people that just started the game that day and they were pretty much done after the 2 sessions. But if you had a fresh group, I would probably say it's a 6 to 10 hour, depending on how organized you are.
Okay. I'll think about it, see if I can get some people together for it.
And that not including the wins, because the wins are buggy. To getting 20 wins.
Of course.
Of course it is. And the last game I wanted to talk about, because I did it earlier today. It was also a boost. It was a difficult boost. I played, thanks to Shadowless Edge, for coming over to my house in Darwin and logging into my computer and downloading the now delisted version of Age of Empires Definitive Edition on the Windows 10. I started that game because it's now delisted, so I couldn't purchase it. But he flew up earlier today, logged in, flew back to Mel.
That's really nice of him, taking time away from his kid to just come and help you out with that.
Abandoned his kid, which is I appreciate it, because I know I love him more than his child does.
That's fair, yeah.
But no, so I started that. I finished one campaign, the tutorial campaign, by I went to the last mission of the campaign. I hit enter, I hit home run, and then hit enter again, and I won the campaign and unlocked an achievement. I then had an impromptu boosting session with Tropan, good bloke, to get the ranked ELO match out of the way. And so we obviously traded wins. So in the first round I was losing, so I waited 5 minutes in-game time and then promptly died due to his villagers stabbing me as I stood there still. Then we swapped and I built some villagers and I stabbed his villagers until they were dead and broke his little houses. About halfway through me breaking his town centre, he built another villager and started repairing. The sneaky little... I looked away, and I'm like, oh, it should be done now. It's not done now. Why is it? And I see this one red guy with a hammer just hammering away at the town centre, fixing it. I'm like, ooh, you sneaky little... stabbed his face off and then destroyed the town centre. But no, it's a very good one, and given the new version will auto-pop all achievements you've unlocked in this delisted version, it's a good... I'll probably get it done tomorrow or the day after, and then have those points ready for week 9 for an insta-pop.
Is it a particularly hard list?
No, it's a little bit grindy, but cheats do not disable achievements. So, I mean, all the campaigns, you just keep hitting the win the match cheat repeatedly until you get through the campaign. A lot of the stuff is made much easier with instant build and having unlimited resources and stuff. So, yeah, no, pretty good. But I ended up with 2,320 game score for the week.
Great.
Matt, what have you been doing?
A few things this week, not a huge amount, but finished up Hawken. Thank you for that, Chin. Had a couple of achievements. Had a little bit of trouble trying to get that EMP to work correctly. My robot throwing arm not so great.
No, well, it was almost too good as you launched it way above me to the other side of the map.
And then the other one is I hit you in the head with it and it bounced off you. That was good.
Yeah.
But so I got that done. There was some nice easy points there. I've been letting Batman Season 2 Telltale run on my PC. So I don't know if I count that as playing it. About halfway through Season 3 when I got bored of it and just turned it off. Still doing some work on Gears of War 2 Japan. We got through another map this weekend, which is good. And when I say we, I mean basically I was like, hey guys, I'm going to go off for my anniversary now. Can you guys just run through this Horde map for me and I'll just sit here? And so they started at wave 1 and I came back and they're at wave 44. But, I helped them with the last few of them, so that still counts.
You helped them through the toughest parts of it. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, look, the last 10 waves are the hardest anyway. So, there's no way they would have got it done without me. So they're really just lucky that I came back at all.
How do you, with Gears of War 2 in Horde mode, it's been a while since I've played it. Can you build fortifications? Or
no,
is that the one where you just dumped boom shields in the way?
You just dump the boom shields, because the third one is the fortifications. So some of the maps are a lot easier than others. So we've had to skip over a few. There's a couple that we got to like wave 49, and you just can't beat wave 49 or 50. So we're like, we'll circle back on that one. So I've got a whole Google Doc of where we're at with each of them. But there's so many maps to do because it has all the DLC and everything in it. So you just have to play. You have to get to wave. You have to finish all 50 waves on all of the maps. So, and we're doing about one every Sunday. So by Christmas, I should be done, hopefully. Yeah. And so I'm also doing a bit of Darkness Japan. I've got maybe 20 matches left, and I'll be done with it. And you can usually finish a match in about a minute. So I'll hopefully get that done very soon. And then I have to help Yoda with his 250. So we'll grind that out for a few hours. But be good to put that away. I'm currently playing Bridge Constructor Portal. So I did the original Bridge Constructor ages ago, and I have Bridge Constructor Stunts, and then I saw that Bridge Constructor Portal was on Game Pass, so I figured I'd give that a go. I don't think I've been more bored by a game for quite a while. I mean, it's very clear that I'm not an engineering major, but man, that game is dull as dishwater. I mean, even if I wasn't following a guide and trying to just build these contraptions, it's just not a lot of fun. It's just so much trial and error. I guess maybe because it was originally like a Flash game, kind of low impact to have a bit of fun, just see what weird stuff you can make. But when I'm just like, there's 60 levels in this game, which I really feel like is like 30 too many. Because you just kind of build the same sort of bridge every time, or you build some weird sort of, tower contraption, and you just run it, and then you tweak it, and you run it, and you tweak it, and you run it, and you tweak it. And it doesn't really, like, there's not enough variety or interesting things. They try to do some fun stuff with the portals around, you go into one, you come out of the other, but going a different direction, or they have the gel that speeds you up, or the one that makes you bounce, and all that sort of stuff. So there's a little bit of variety there. I think I'm on challenge 49 out of 60, so I'll hopefully finish that this week. It's got a decent TA for it. I think it's a 2.0 ratio, because it's a really easy game if you just follow the guide. It's just dull as dishwater. But the main one that I've been playing this week is Bendy and the Ink Machine, which I grabbed on sale when I think it was 50% off a few weeks back. And it has such a great opening. I really, really enjoyed that first level where it's really kind of spooky. The art style is this beautiful sort of cell shading with a lot of like muted, like sort of wood paneling, and that sort of sepia filter of like old sort of not quite Steamboat Willie, but just a little bit beyond that, sort of towards like Oswald Lucky Rabbit, where it's not black and white, but it's mainly like there's a lot of influence. They don't have a lot of color to work with, and it works really, really well. So when color does show up, it really pops. That first level is really great because it's really got really good atmosphere. You wander around a small area, but you collect a lot of things. You get some spooks. You open a door and something jumps out at you, and it's fun. And then it just sort of progresses to become like the second level is also really, really good. And then the third level is a massive fetch quest where you go up and down an elevator to different floors to grab bits and pieces for this person. And it involves a lot of combat, which is really not what I was expecting. I was expecting more of the sort of standard Amnesia, run away from all the scary things, hide in closets sort of stuff. And there is a lot of that. But there's also quite a bit of combat, especially in the third chapter and the last chapter. The last chapter actually has an achievement for getting into a big fight with a bunch of these shadow creatures that you have to hit with an axe. And you actually have to get more kills than someone else who's fighting them with you. That achievement took me about 10 tries, and every time you mess it up, you basically have to restart the chapter. Thankfully, it's towards the beginning, and the chapters aren't very long. You could speed run the game in maybe an hour and a half if you were really blitzing it. But the game can't really decide what it wants to be, I think, is the problem. Like, because it does the hiding from stuff and doing the basic puzzles relatively well, like decently well. It goes on for a bit long, and especially the last bit. There's a sort of last bit where you have to sneak around a bunch of corridors, and you can open doors, and there are 3 people patrolling it, and you have to try and avoid all of them. And there's an achievement for actually not being seen by any of them, which is really difficult. You basically have to follow the guide to a T, and they have timings on when you need to move, because one's going clockwise, one's going anti-clockwise, and one's sort of threading through the middle, doing whatever it wants to. And it's not a lot of fun. I mean, and I don't know how I feel about that. It was an interesting game. It was definitely, the story is kind of basically the people who created these, they created an ink machine to make it easier to draw the cartoons rather than doing it by hand, and essentially they accidentally summoned a demon out of it based on the character they created, and now it's tormenting all the creators. It's pretty cool. And visually, it looks really fantastic. But just the game itself, I seem to say this a lot, but the game itself really got in the way of what they were doing. In the end, though, I didn't have too much trouble with it. The main thing that struck me was that fight achievement, which I had to do a few times, and then the collectibles. There are 100 bacon soup cans in that game, and I went through the game twice. There's also no tracker for the either in the achievement itself or in the game, and so there's no way to check which ones you have. And I went through the game twice, and I definitely got all 100 of them, because when I watched the guide, I could tick them off. And I didn't get the achievement until I sat down. I'd gotten all the other achievements and did a third playthrough from beginning to end without quitting, and that's what finally got me the achievement. Thankfully, I could speedrun it in about that hour and a half I talked about, maybe 2 hours. So it wasn't too bad. So it went from a 4 to 5 hour completion to like an 8 to 10. And there's not really enough content in that game. You playing through that game that many times, you really start seeing the holes in how they've made it. But I think it was...
Do the bacon soups give you anything?
They will technically heal you, but you have regenerating health. So if you're in a tight spot with an enemy, because the combat's not very good and they're just wailing on you, if you happen to see one, you can grab one and it'll give you full health straight away. But you could always just as easily run away and wait for your health to regenerate. So they don't really actually give you anything.
So they're more useful than Alan Wake's coffee thermoses, but not by a whole lot.
Only just. And at least, yeah, it was, yeah. So and also, the good thing about those coffee thermoses was that when you reloaded into those levels, though the ones you had picked up were gone. These ones, if you go back into a level, they show back up again. So you don't know if you've picked them up again or not. I think, so I actually went and marked the achievement as buggy on TA. I think the problem is, and I might put up a guide about this, is that a lot of the other achievements for not being seen or not dying, you need to be saving and quitting or dashboarding for. And I think that causes problems. So the easiest way to do it is to do what I did, is to play through the whole game in one sitting, try and get all the collectibles, and then try and use chapter select to patch up any achievements that you missed.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I'd say it's worth checking out, but understand that it's not like a super polished, like, really atmospheric game, but it's got some really interesting charm to it and some interesting ideas that don't execute super well. But so at the end of that, I got 2,835 points this week.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, I responded to you on TA.
Oh, yeah, I thought it might have been you.
I was like, thank you for the submission. I really wanted to do Neomaster 47. 2008. But I'm like, no, you need to be professional.
Well, I only wanted to talk about 2 games that I played this week. So I've been working hard on random to-do list. I played a game called Hydrophobia. So I got this, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago on sale for about $3. It was an XBLA title on the 360. I don't really know how to kind of say whether I like this game or not. The game is an action-adventure game. I think you're a security officer. I'm not really sure. There's a problem at your workplace, and it turns out that there's been a terrorist attack, and you go and investigate. Now, hydrophobia to me sounds like a fear of water. I actually didn't Google it, but that sounds like what it would be. There's a lot of water in the game, and there's not a lot of people that are scared of water. Actually, I haven't seen anyone that's been scared of water, so I'm like, I don't know, maybe that name is misleading. It's kind of a weird story, I think. I don't really understand what's happening, even though it's hard to describe. I feel like I want to say I don't want to understand what's happening, but I understand things that are happening. So you're going to investigate this, is like all of a sudden everything's blowing up and water's coming in. It's like, are you on a ship? I can't even remember if you're on a ship. I don't really know. There's terrorists that are doing terrorist-like things, and you're like, why? And I'm in Act 2 of 3. I don't really know why they're doing these things. The gameplay, though, the gameplay is okay. It's engaging enough, and it's gets the job done. But it's pretty simple. There's not really a whole lot to it. It seems like it's a kind of average to good. And when I say good, I don't mean like good. It's like an average to good kind of action-adventure game. The story's good. It's just, it's run-of-the-mill, really. But the game that I've really enjoyed this week, and
just before
Chin, I know you've played this.
Before you move on, Hydrophobia was interesting because it was the original No Man's Sky in that it launched a certain way and then got updated and is a completely different game to how it launched. So
yeah, I think
it's.
I think the only big thing they sort of kept was the water physics was basically the only thing that stayed the same.
So I think possibly the title could be more related to how the game initially was, because I think it was that you couldn't touch the water or you die. So that was kind of like, so you had to do lots of platforming to get around all this water. But yeah, no, it's almost like like 2 separate games with the same name by the same developer. That's that's how drastic the changes were.
So if you delete the title update, does it go back to that old version?
I don't think so. No, I think they updated essentially what you get from the store in the first place.
Oh, yeah, of course, because it's not on disc. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I had no idea. I mean, I played it, more than 10 years after it came out, I suppose? I don't even know.
That's right. I only died it this year as well. It's just one of those things that came up when No Man's Sky was brought up as well. So that's something I'm only vaguely aware of. And I remember it launching, but I don't remember much else.
There you go. I do remember when it launched, it had negative reviews, and that was really the only thing I remembered about it. But I bid for $2 or $3, whatever it was. All right. Well, the other game that I've been playing that like I said, I've been really enjoying is The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. Now, Chin, I know you've played this. Neo, you've also played this game, haven't you?
Yep, I finished it.
Yeah. How long did it take you to finish it, Neo?
Maybe 10 hours. I'm sort of pulling that out of nowhere, but
that's pretty much what I think it will take. When I asked Chin this weekend, he said about 3 to 4. And my time put into this game, so there's 5 acts. I'm almost all the way through to the 8-hour achievement. I would guess I've probably played 7 hours and I've left it running for a bit while I went and did other things. But I'm halfway through Act 4 at about 7 hours in. So I know you said to me on the weekend you plugged in a keyboard, but how do you get it done in 3 to 4 hours? Do you type the answer in and then just click A straight over the top of it and not listen to a single thing that's being said? Like, how do you do that?
So, according to True Achievements, I'm just making sure it's the same day. So it took me math. I mean, I probably have misremembered and I probably thought I skipped over everything. I started it, got my first achievement at 1:13 in the afternoon, and got the... I don't want to even use that because I know I left it running specifically for the 8-hour achievement, but I finished it.
I remember you saying that you finished it and you had to leave it.
I finished it at 11 o'clock essentially. But I know I played it with my girlfriend. I was pretty much done after 3 to 4 hours, and we were watching. I mean, we weren't asking anything that wasn't up there. I don't think we weren't asking extra questions.
Did you completely finish the game and get all the achievements?
I have. I had to go back and get the 1,000 questions asked and 400 insanity points on a second playthrough, but
right.
And I did that the next day. But yeah, it was, what's that? 10 hours on the first day, but I don't recall it being 10 hours of sitting there and playing this game.
Yeah. Well, I guess the reason it's so curious to me is because for the people that haven't played this game, it's a full motion video game where you are a psychiatrist or psychologist, I don't remember which one you are. You're taking over patients from Dr. Decker, who has been murdered. Now, your patients are special in some way. They have special abilities. I think there's about 8 patients, something like that. But so, for example, their abilities, one guy can walk into a doorway, and rather than walk out the other side of the door, he appears in a completely different doorway somewhere else in the world. Or maybe in the city, I don't know. That part's not clear. There's another woman who blacks out when she goes to the beach, and she dreams about things calling to her. There's a guy...
Yeah,
this
the
guy,
Cthulhu
I think, is the
lady,
most...
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, she wears the necklace, yeah. It took me 2 or 3 acts to realise she was wearing a necklace, and they make references to that. But she's the one that's trying to pick you up as well. It's kind of weird.
Hot. Yeah, weird.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
there's a guy that has a 25th hour in the day, so time's frozen for everyone else except him. And he can go around and do whatever he wants. And it does get a bit dark, the things that he says. He's done in that 25th hour. So, let your imagination run wild there. But through your meeting with your patients, you also end up investigating the murder. Now, the interesting thing about how you play this game is like the old text-based adventures where you have to type questions in. At least that's the way I've found you have to play it. Now, if you did it with the controller and typed, one letter at a time, 100% it'd be a 20-hour game. It's ridiculous. But I've connected my phone via the remote control function in the Xbox app, and I'm typing mine in with my phone keyboard, so it's a lot faster. If you did what Chin did and connected a keyboard to your Xbox, it would be faster again. So the way you actually play the game is so tedious. Typing these questions in, it does my head in. But I feel like the reward in the interesting story in the game is worth it, because it's really interesting, the story and how things are kind of intersecting, and I'm interested to see what happens in the rest of the game. So,
have you not finished your playthrough yet?
No, I'm halfway through Act 4 out of 5.
Okay, so the killer's random, just so you know.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this question won't affect your playthrough. Neo, who did you have killer the first time?
I think I had 25th Hour guy.
Okay. I had marinara sauce.
Is that Nathan? No, Nathan's the one that repeats the days.
Yeah,
Nathan
not
is
Nathan.
the day repeater.
Bryce
Tomothy.
is his name.
Bryce, yes. Yeah, Bryce.
Tomothy, close.
See, I'd say my time is a bit skewed because I didn't get anything between the 4 and 8 hours played achievements. So I'd say my 10 hours are probably not completely accurate. Maybe, according to the flags on True Achievements, 4 hours is not missable, so it's kind of a guarantee. You're guaranteed to get this playing through the game, so I don't think you can skip through the dialogue the first time. So it's probably maybe a 5 to 6 hour playthrough.
Yeah, I think I put mine at 6 to 8, but I had to do a quick second playthrough just to make sure. I think I missed something, but yeah.
Well, who did you have for your killer in the first time you played, Chin?
Marinara sauce.
Mariana, yeah.
Marinara sauce.
If you like her, definitely play the shape-shifting detective, because that actress shows up in there.
Yeah.
I started that one. That's
I looked her up because I'm like, this woman looks so familiar, and I don't know why. And I saw that she was in that, and I'm like, is that the one with the deaf detective and no one likes that game? And I'm like, no, that's a different one. You know, the one that I can't even remember what it's called.
I wonder how their Dr. Decker Live went.
I heard it was pretty good.
They did a live show, yeah.
Yeah, I heard it went really, really well.
And it's because they had I think they picked who the killer is on the night through random draw, and then they had scenes specifically, like they had changed scenes around depending on what you asked and stuff. It was really interesting to see. Oh, good. There is a playthrough. There's a 2-hour playthrough. I'll put that in the Discord for us, and we'll probably put it in the show notes. Because it's 2 hours, but if it's 2 hours, I'm not playing a game. I'll watch it. Seems interesting enough.
Yeah. Well, I've my random to-do list that I'm going for is Hintless Wonder, so I have to finish the game with no hints.
Yeah, and that's easy enough.
And fortunately, you can turn the hints off. Because that's been an issue for me, because according to the guide on True Achievements, you have to press down on the D-pad to get a hint. Mm-hmm. It's actually up on the D-pad. So I pressed up.
Is it?
And I've accidentally pressed up as I go to press left and look at the questions. Probably 2 or 3 times. And like I said, I just got the 8-hour achievement. So I would be extremely salty because it voids your playthrough. It saves it as soon as you press the hint button. Right. So I would say if you're going to play this and you're going for that achievement, go into the options and turn it off, because it's easy to accidentally press the button. So my random to-do list so far, I'm 17 out of 25, and I was only 750 Gamerscore this week, so not a great deal. But we've got a pretty monstrous sale going on this week, so we won't talk about everything that's in the sale, but there's a lot. There's a lot in there. There's
a lot. Unfortunately, not all of it is relevant to us, because a lot of it is a Gamescom sale, which is EU only, so our UK and European listeners will get a lot more sales than we have access to. But, it is what it is. Some games did get added to Game Pass, or at least have been announced that they will be added to Game Pass. They had a show at Gamescom, as we mentioned 2 seconds ago. So Devil May Cry 5 has been added. Stellaris Console Edition has been added to Game Pass. As I alluded to earlier, Age of Empires, a new stack of the Definitive Edition on Windows 10 has been added to the PC Game Pass. Kingdom Come Deliverance has been added, I believe that's console and PC, on the 22nd of August. Ape Out, which is PC only, will be coming out on the 22nd of August. And Blair Witch, the Bloober Team game that was teased at E3, is going to be out on the 30th of August on PC and console Game Pass.
That's awesome. That's such a good get. That
Yeah,
Blair Witch was such a surprise at E3. So that's really cool that it's coming into the Game Pass.
Yeah.
Do we know if that's Xbox exclusive?
Or
is it just in the Game Pass on the Xbox?
I don't believe it's exclusive.
All right, I'll have a quick
squiz.
I'll have a quick look at that one.
So we've done away with our easy and quick Gamerscore as separate the categories, words, English. So they're just Gamerscore games. These are games. If you like Gamerscore, this is what you should be looking out for. We have A Way Out, which is 67% off, $9.89. Beyond Eyes, 75% off, $3.74. Oceanhorn, Monster of the Uncharted Seas, 50% off, $7.49. Good if you like Legend Zelda, the Wind Waker Zelda.
Very much so, yeah.
I was about to say Legend Wind Waker.
Getting a little ahead of yourself there.
Yeah. Candle at the Power of Flames, 75% off, $4.99. Crypt of the Serpent King, 50% off, 99 cents. You cannot get a better deal than that. You should snap that up. Super easy game.
No. Save your $1.
Super easy game.
Real simple for the most part. Not fun, but simple.
Strafe around the enemies. Darksiders Warmaster Edition is 85% off, $2.99. I think the Darksiders 2 as well is like $4.99. So they're pretty cheap. And LA Cops is 75% off, $3.74. Now, Matt is going to take you through the Gamescom specific sales that we noticed.
Just before you do that, it looks like Blair Witch is Microsoft exclusive, so PC and Xbox.
Okay.
Great. It looks really good. I mean, I thought it was going to be Outlast before it came out, and then they hit it with a Blair Witch.
Yeah.
You should get a code for it and do a stream.
Oh, yes, please. I will pay literally no money, but I will be entitled to tell you how you should play it.
Just buy it and play it on an alt. Does that sound fair? Or if I can get it for the review account, we'll get it on there. But
ChinDocta.
But get a code for it. I want to see you play it.
I couldn't handle Bendy and the Ink Machine. I'm not going to handle Blair Witch. The monster wasn't even out yet. And I was like, nope, I can't do this. Nope, it hadn't even come out. I hadn't reached the point where I'd summoned him.
Didn't you and Warren review Outlast?
No, we reviewed Amnesia, the collection.
Yes, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, Amnesia. That's scary,
Warren played
man.
a lot
That was
of it.
one
I
of the
didn't play much
scariest
at all, to be perfectly honest.
You just played that Machine for Pigs one or whatever the other one was.
Justine.
Yeah, the easy ones.
Yeah, the slightly less scary, much easier. Gamescom sales. Matt, go for it.
So Gamescom sales, we've got Dreamfall Chapters 70% off for £4.79. Kona 67% off for £3.95.
All these
Child
prices
of
are
Light
in pounds. He's just going to say numbers.
Yeah, sure. Child of Light 70% off for $3.59. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes 80% off for $3.99. Although you should already have it when it was Games with Gold. Minute, which is one of my favorite indie games recently, for $4.79, 40% off. Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse, 75% off for $4.99. Strider, 80% off for $2.39. A great game if you're into sort of side-scrolling Metroidvania. Tyler Model 005, 80% off for $1.59. Decent game, but the jumping's all messed up. You hear what I talked about it on a few episodes ago. Uno, 50% off for $3.99. Nice and easy card game. Don't put your vision camera on, or you'll see things you'll never want to see.
I do think you can connect your Kinect. I'm pretty sure you can. enable your Connect in that game.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. And then Valiant Hearts: The Great War, 70% off at $3.59.
All right.
So what do you recommend then, Matt?
I would go with Dreamfall Chapters, actually. So I picked this up on disc a while back, but I know I talked about how I'm kind of tired of Telltale's sort of thing, sort of their narrative take on video games at this point, now that I've played through so many of them so many times. But Dreamfall is kind of that, with a bit more of the adventure in there and a bit more conversation-y stuff. No real combat or anything to speak of, but a lot of, tough decisions. But you actually get to walk around a bit and actually do a bit more of the gameplay rather than just the conversation things. It is technically a sequel to the original Dreamfall.
Sequel or third?
No, I think it's just a sequel.
Dreamfall had book 1 and 2.
So, okay, yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Depending on how you look, it's either a sequel or a threequel.
Yeah, so you will get more out of it if you understand how the original games were. But to be fair, the game itself has a really, really good self-contained story that's definitely worth playing through. You do have to play through it, I think, twice to do some of the options, which is a little bit annoying. But definitely highly recommended. What about you, Kirby?
Kirby?
I think, and it's unfortunate it's gone on sale now and not earlier before they sort of had to shut it down. But Hand of Fate 2, I mean, it's only 35% off. It's still really expensive at $19.49. I genuinely think it's worth that. If we all got Hand of Fate 1 in with Games with Gold, it's that, but so much more. It's so much better. The different little mini campaigns are so unique to themselves. Sorry, so in one you will have a certain objective that's completely different to the others. I mean, the combat's much the same, but I didn't particularly have an issue with the combat. Having just gone back and played Hand of Fate 1 for reasons, the combat is better. It's a little bit tighter, but it's not a huge improvement. But just the game as a whole, I think, is so fantastic. I would even go so far as... I mean, I've purchased this 3 times, I think. Once for myself and twice as gifts with the condition of, if you enjoy the game, gift it for someone else. Because I love this so much. And in fact, I might do that for other games in the future. I mean, I'm more than happy to buy games for people. And if you don't enjoy it, you don't have to do anything. But if if you're on the fence, just go for it. This is a really good game. What crap are you peddling, Alex?
That's a bit harsh. I didn't write down my second recommendation, so I'll get to that in a sec. But Battlefield 5 is 70% off. It's $17.99. I know you would have heard a lot of bad things about Battlefield 5 in the release, but when you actually get in there with a squad of people and play it, you're running around, taking the objectives, it actually is a lot of fun. Before we joined the random to-do list contest, Cameron and I spent a lot of time playing this together, and it's just great fun. It can be quite difficult if you're against a lot of good players on the other team, but it's fun. It works reasonably well as well, and you get the Firestorm Battle Royale for free included in that, and I think they're still adding things to the game, so it's $17.99 is a pretty reasonable price, I think. The other one is Kona, so that's £3.95. But Kona was a really good open world kind of adventure game where you're trying to find out what's happening in this town when there's no one in it, kind of in the middle of a snowstorm. It's only about 8 hours to finish as well, 6 to 8 hours, I think, if you follow a guide. Was it less than that? Chin's face is saying it might be less than that.
Yeah, I feel like it was my 3 to 4 again, but...
Yeah, you could do it in 3 to 4, but it is unless you're following a guide really closely, it's really easy to mess up and have to do another playthrough.
Yeah, and it's also extremely easy to get lost because everything looks like everything. You have a map, but
traveling
everything
to a
looks
white
the same.
place in snow while there's snow falling everywhere, and you're in a white place with snow.
Yeah,
But look, it's still
but
a good game.
It's a pretty cool game. It's a pretty fun game.
Just real quickly on your Battlefield, feel free to purchase it. Keep up with the forums on True Achievements, because at the moment there are, I think, 6 broken achievements where if you play in the current update, you'll be locked out of progress on them. I think it's like earn 100,000 points for each class, earn 500,000 points or something. Those will be locked out until a new patch comes and fixes them. So I would purchase it, but don't start playing until we've got a patch out from EA, who have confirmed there's issues and that they're looking into a fix.
I'll start with what I'm potentially purchasing this week. So, Animal Super Squad looks interesting. Candle, The Power of Flame, A Way Out, and My Little Riding Champion.
No. You won't be buying My Little Riding Champion because that has a unobtainable on the latest patch. So you want to get that physical so you can play it offline and play on the unpatched version.
So which achievement is not working then?
It is called, and I'm going to be really... I put it somewhere. Where did I put it? Hold up. It's called... No, I've lost it. It's the achievement for spending 24 hours on horseback. So the most you get is 3 to 4 hours. So that's 24 hours real time. I think.
Not
Pretty sure.
24 hour in time. Okay.
And a day is 3 to 4 hours in game. So a day in game is 3 to 4 hours real time. So you need to spend like 6 days worth of time. Because you go to sleep, you wake up, you get on your horse, wait 3 to 4 hours, go back to sleep, get up onto your horse. So 24 hours of real time. So stuff.
So you can't just leave it running in the...
No, because they'll go to sleep and they'll stop riding their horse. I know.
They'll go to sleep on the horse?
No. They'll go to sleep in their bed.
Okay.
It's dumb.
But it sounds like I'm going to go to sleep playing this game.
Yeah. That's way
That's
too much
a shame,
planning.
because I was thinking, 400,000 gamer scores coming up, got to do a celebration, My Little Riding Champion, could be the way to go. I don't know. All right, well, I guess I'm not buying that then. So, Matt, what are you thinking of buying this week?
So I'm going to grab Omen Sight, which is the next game from the people who made Stories, Path of Destinies.
Okay.
And if you are going to get that, apparently Chin told me about this, is that the bundle is actually cheaper than buying the game by itself. Now, I already own the original Stories game, but apparently the bundle is 70% off, whereas the game itself is only 40% off. So if you're like me and you already own the original game, or if you don't own them, just go and buy the bundle. It's like $17.
Yeah, so I think in US terms, I think the Omen site by itself is on sale for $11.50, and the bundle is $9. So even if you own Stories, The Path of Destinies, it's still cheaper to get the bundle of both games. And the bundle is on sale for longer than this Omen site. So Omen site will run out next week on the 27th. The bundle is still good till the 31st. So I don't know.
It really, it sounds more like an oversight rather than an Omen site.
Oh. That's bad.
Yeah, nice. That's good.
I'm going to buy Arse, Animal Super Squad.
It looks good, huh?
I think it's like a cartoony childish trials kind of game. Like not.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Look, I'm buying it because I don't own it and it's cheap. So, and my spending habits haven't changed in my growing age from last week when I wasn't on the podcast.
And your ability to talk English hasn't improved as well.
Definitely not. What if I told you I was ESL? I'm not, but what if I told you that?
I'm more ASL.
I'm more ASDF? Okay, I don't know. I'm just...
Do you not know what ESL?
English second language.
Oh, he knows what it is.
English as a second language.
Yeah. You're not ESL, though.
Yeah, no, that's me.
You were playing Doom and Destiny. You weren't playing Doom and Destiny. You were playing Doom and Destiny. Yeah?
Yeah. Doom and
your
Destiny.
dogs are unhappy that you played Doom and Destiny.
No, they're like, nah, he's ESL as...
And Destiny.
He's fob as all hell.
Alright. So we've got some new games. We're not going to talk about everything this week, but we've got
No, but I've got a list that I've
out.
narrowed down. I've curated the list down. I took out like
It
3.
does not look curated
I took out like 3.
at all.
These are games I want to talk about. We're going to talk about them. I love them.
I'm going to take out some games while you talk. All right, cool.
DLC for Metro Exodus, both the Win 10 and the Xbox version has come out today. The 2 Kernels DLC.
That's cool. I didn't know there was even one coming.
No, I think there's a fair bit. On Wednesday, the new Ratalaika title is coming in, Mecha Bolt. Use your trusty Mecha Bolt device to manipulate robots. It's a 2D side-scrolling platformer. Look.
Was that
cool.
Mecha Girl? Was that one of their ones as well?
No, Mechanica. Metagal.
No, not
Metagal.
Metagal. That's the one.
Metagal.
Mechanica was actually really good, but anyway, not really like
So
it.
the art style in this game reminds me of Devious Dungeons. I don't know if it's the same developer, but it's pretty. Smoots Summer Games. All your favorite Smoots from the Smoots tennis game are now back to play the Olympics. Yeah, look, I'm probably...
What on earth are Smoots? You were very excited about Smoots and you were talking
They
about it.
kind of look like the little Miis you would make on the Wii. Like your little Mii Vitars.
Yeah. Yep.
So, look, we're not going to get another Olympics game, so this is as close as I'm going to get. How many people played Smoots World Cup Tennis? 178, and I'm one of them. All 178 of us are really excited.
There's dozens of us. Dozens!
Look, I've watched some gameplay. It looks pretty fun, but we don't have a list to see whether it's going to be difficult. A lot of mashing buttons and then alternating buttons and combinations to do steps and stuff. On Thursday, episode 4 of Life is Strange 2 is scheduled to release. Gears Pop, maybe? I think originally it had this date, but I feel like I've been hearing early September, like 2nd of September or something, so I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's out, maybe it's not. I doubt there's many people who are excited for, Clash Royale, but as Gears.
Apparently it's 22nd, so coming out on the phone.
Cool. All right.
It might nearly be time to play Life is Strange 2 as well, with all the episodes just about out.
5 episodes?
Although you might want to wait till they're all on Game Pass, because I think they said there's going to be like another month after the last one comes out.
It'll take me that long to get through the first 4 anyway.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
On Friday, we have Voyage of the Dead, which is that other light gun game, the other new light gun game that they're adding for whatever reason. Because
I knew I bought my one for a good reason.
Yeah, I don't know how many people bought the first light gun. I don't even remember what it was called, to be honest. We have Path of Sin Greed, which is a new Artifacts Monday game. Really don't need to say anything more about it. If you've played any Artifacts Monday game except for Irony Curtain, you know what to expect.
Is Glass Masquerade Artifacts Monday?
No. It's also a completely different genre.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's totally different. And why didn't you say except Glass Masquerade as well? Okay, anyway, just don't mind me.
It's also not... If you've played Gears of War, it's not like that either.
Okay.
So, just letting you know.
To be fair, we could be here quite a while if we're naming games that aren't like Artifacts Monday games.
All right, Alex.
Is it like Raiden?
Raiden 4, yes, yep. Not Raiden 5.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Gnome's Garden Lost King also comes out on Friday. It's Gnomes, needs no introduction. Just listen to episode somewhere between 1 and 50. You'll hear me. It's great. No, I love the Gnomes games. I'm looking forward to this. It's
Have you already finished it yet?
No. I don't think they do. They might. I don't think they do pre-release codes. I know they do free review codes, but I don't know if it's pre-release stuff. But
make sure you check for an easy mode this time.
No, I don't want an easy mode because they do pre-release codes because someone else has beaten me to it. It's Bills. It's fine. Love you, Bills. Not even mad. Then next Tuesday we have Wreckfest, which is a destruction derby game from THQ Nordic. It's been on PC for a while. It looks really fun. Like there's a huge variety of vehicles. There's, you can get a destruction derby where there's a guy on a lawnmower versus a bus and, a hot rod, and it just looks really fun. I'm looking forward to this, even though there's multiplayer. Weird. MXGP 2019, the official motocross video game. It's motocross. Alex, did you hear about the Krusty Demons show?
I heard that they were coming to Australia.
They had a show the other day, absolute flop, because they think they
Really?
did like 2 tricks and a burnout, and then like, oh, we're done. And then later revealed, oh, the wind was too strong and it was too dangerous and we're not going to... I don't know if people got refunds. But anyway,
They probably have some clause in there that says if weather permits, you get no refund. You have no recourse.
I think it was like 43 kilometre an hour gusts or something. Which, fair enough, but tell them. Like, I don't know.
43 kilometres, that's not that fast. Anyway, I don't know about motocross.
When you're on a little bike in the air, it's probably a fair bit.
43 kilometres
an hour
that's
gust.
how fast you have to drive in school zones here.
Yeah, to be fair though, if I got hit by a car that was going that, I'd be pretty annoyed too.
It's not necessarily and then you're in the air and you have to.
I'd be very motocross about it.
Okay, I'm done. Recording's finished. Have a good night, everyone. Subara City. Subara City is a city-making puzzle game, giving a fresh spin on the block-matching genre. It looks really good. It's like your little sections of the city are on a board, and they have different colours. So if there's a bunch of green tiles matching, like connected, you hit them, and they'll all sort of join in. And the tiles might have little buildings or people, and so the more people and building you add to that main tile, it'll get upgraded. And it just looks really fun, like a nice, easy, puzzly game that you can just not think about and just play. Control comes out on Friday. That's the new Remedy game.
Remedy's new game, yeah.
Apparently,
Great, looking forward to it.
Metroidvania inspired, so backtracking for those 1,000 collectibles.
Don't say that.
1,200 thermos cups. Hunt Showdown, which is a competitive PvP PvE game. Essentially, you're either in 5 squads of 2 or 10 solo players are dropped into this map. There is a monster that needs to be hunted, but you're essentially competing against all the other people as well. So you can kill the other players and then take on the monster. I mean, the strategy usually is to snipe the monster when he's low, as well as take out whoever's attacking him. Because once the monster is dead, whoever's killed him becomes the target and has to escape without being killed. If they're killed by another player, then they will get all the bounty, all that sort of stuff. So it looked kind of interesting. Probably not for me, but certainly a title people should look out for.
And it's by the makers.
They can hunt it down if they're interested.
Huh?
Oh boy. It's by the makers of Crysis as well. So Crytek are making this one.
And Bard's Tale 4 comes out on the Tuesday as well. And that's
going into Game Pass, right?
Straight into Game Pass, PC and Xbox.
All right. Well, got anything in the way of knobs and discos? I know we were just talking about...
know. I don't think anything... Oh, yes, but I'm lazy. Vampire Windows 10 has some unobtainables.
Good start.
I think that's about it for this week. Yeah.
All right. Well, Isaac the gamer, who we were talking about earlier, has written in with another question. So he says, "Hey guys, I know you love your quick points, but sometimes I love to dive into a really long game. Are there any really long games that you just have to play, even though you know they'll take a lot of time?" For him, it's... sorry, I assume it's him. I name Isaac, but anyway. For me, I love Rockstar games. Anything Rockstar puts out, it might take away from earning achievements in other games, but I don't want to miss out on the elaborate stories and interesting gameplay. And he also said, Fukuoka?
Yeah,
Japan?
Fukuoka. Yep.
That's what I said.
That's where he's from.
Yes, it's a
that's
huge
where
place,
he
so
is.
it doesn't care if people know he's from there.
No, I wasn't sure where exactly he was,
know.
but it's a big...
I know.
I mean, it's
It's all G. It's all G.
Yep.
So, in terms of Isaac's question, what do you guys reckon? A long game that you really have to play?
I've had a few over the years. Part of the problem is I keep getting convinced to join competitions where I can't do that anymore. Thanks, Warren.
Just quit them like I did. Just quit until they offer you a badge.
Yeah. Well, exactly right. Same
so
as you.
ready to quit.
Every time I'm like, I'm never doing the G task again. I don't need to be on tilt for 55 weeks.
Just get minimum above the line until the final week. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my strategy.
That's simple,
Yep. I'm not the limbo champion you are, Alex.
I'm like Icarus. I'm flying too close to the sun, except it's the G-Task elimination line. Anyway, it's fine.
You're flying too close to the ocean where the wind is too strong. It's 43 kilometer an hour gusts. Your wings are falling off.
Oh boy, I'm big into my open world RPGs. I think probably the best example of when I just lost so much time to a game was the Dragon Age series, especially the first one, but a bit of Inquisition as well, just because, first of all, those achievements take so long that you pretty much just have to invest in them. And The Witcher 3 took so much time, but I loved just about every minute of it. I mean, it probably didn't help that I was playing it on Death March difficulty to get that achievement. I think I probably would have got through it a bit better if it was just on easy or normal. But when you're on the hardest difficulty, every fight is like, well, this could be it. This could be the one that I just can't beat.
Is it permadeath mode or not permadeath?
No, not permadeath. There is a permadeath mode, but thankfully you don't have to do that. But the early fights, especially where you don't have great equipment, and because the game's open world, the scaling is a bit difficult. You have to do a bit of grinding and some of the easier missions to get a feel for those. There's one achievement in there for killing an enemy without taking any damage and without using any potions or any sort of weaknesses on it for one of the hunts, which can get really tricky because the whole point is you're supposed to, research the animal, find out its weaknesses, and then use them against them. But I put, probably over 100 hours into The Witcher 3 and probably about maybe 150 into the Dragon Ages. Easy. I really, really enjoy those games. I have so little time to play them now. But I think maybe it's probably Western RPGs that really, really get me. Things like Skyrim and that sort of stuff where you can lose so much time just getting really, really into them.
Fair enough. What about you, Chin? Gnome's Garden does not count as a long game. I'm sorry.
Long game for me has shifted. I played Kingdom Hearts twice. Don't have the completion yet, but in my heart of hearts, I fully intend to go back and complete them. But I pretty much played through the story twice and did a lot of the side stuff as well. So between that, I was probably because I don't know. It probably wasn't as long as I think it is, but long games has shifted closer to the 30-hour mark for me. Still look. I dive stuff. Every week I add another 500 hours to my backlog with my purchases, but I don't know. At the moment, because I'm pushing for that million Gamerscore in a way. The other thing is, sitting down to, not necessarily in one sitting, but, playing a Final Fantasy X, which is a 50-hour completion or whatever, as opposed to playing a roguelite where I do 20 different playthroughs that are 10 minutes each. Oh, 10 minutes is too short. Doing 60 hours of Enter the Gungeon, but it's, 100 different runs is more where I'm at the moment. Because I'm kind of... And I'm now, I think next month I'm going to shift into roguelite mode because the top 3 places are pulling away from me a little bit, so I need to put some time into it. That's more appealing to me at the moment than sitting down and playing 200 hours of Dynasty Warriors or, Valkyria Revolution, Vesperia Tales, those longer form RPGs. Just at the moment, I love them. I love playing them, but at the moment, that's not where my interests lie. So it's a long story and cleanup is not appealing to me at the moment. I will certainly get to them at some point, but right now it's those quick hits of everything, of games and of playthroughs that I'm in at the moment.
It's a hard sell, right?
Yeah. I mean, once I hit 1 million hopefully by the end of next year, maybe I'll shift a little bit. I don't know that I still will care about achievements, but I don't know that I'll be pushing super hard on all the easy stuff and buying something for the sake of using it as Gamerscore fodder. Alex?
Fair enough. Yeah. Just been thinking, like, long games makes me think like 100+ hours, just off the bat. But I think Rocket League, I'm not there yet, but I will get to 100 hours in that game. I'm sure of it. If a new game came out, that's what I started thinking when I read this. I'm like, a new game that came out that was long that I would have to play. Dead Island 2. Even though, it's going into development hell at the moment, it's on its third developer, I think, now. So it's first Jaeger, then Sumo. I can't remember who the third one is now, but I will spend dozens of hours into that game. I think I spent about 110 hours in the first Dead Island game. So I played it through by myself the first time, then I played it through co-op a second time, and I started a third playthrough to mop up some achievements, and then I did the DLC that they released. I played it when it re-released for about 30-ish hours, 40 hours, just did the one playthrough. So that's, around 140 hours in Dead Island, not including the sequels, which I've played both the sequel and the stack of the sequel. But also Gears of War 3, I think, behind Rocket League, Gears of War 3 is probably the game that I've put the most hours into. And if they did a remaster of that, I would probably buy it, and I would probably happily sink another... I actually don't know how long I've put in there, because it doesn't have a time played counter. And I was talking to one of my friends who was really big into it. Like, he was so good at the game. I'm like, how do you know how long you played? He goes, it's time in cover times 5, roughly. And that was 130 hours or so for me. But that game, Gears of War 3, they absolutely nailed it. I wish they could put Horde from Gears of War 4 into Gears of War 3. Done. Perfect game. Take my money. No microtransactions, take my money. So if you want to discuss that in our Discord, please do. We'd be interested to hear what you guys think about games that are really long that you have to play. But we're going to quickly run through our milestones here. So we've got Maddie L22L has reached 2,000 achievements won. Prue has he's doubled up on the achievements. He's got 600,000 gamer score and 500 completed games. And Kush Moose is now in the top 50 of the True Achievement leaderboard for Metroidvania, or, as Kush says, the Metrovania. That was a joke for a while, but What the Fug has made 350,000 gamer score. Mark B, top 1,000 of True Achievement leaderboard for Connect required games. That's an obscure leaderboard. Nice work.
He's a brave man.
Yeah, well, he's be a fit man if he's going for all the Connect games. Damn. Shadowless Edge, 500,000 True Achievement score. Reset 42, 200,000 True Achievement score. Gymbot UK, this one surprised me. True Achievement ratio of 1.7, which, it's not super high or anything, but that's over a lot of gamer score for Gymbot, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's over 500,000.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he's been bringing it he brought it down by getting 700 achievements in an easy game last week for the G-Task or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, he's at 721,000.
How much? 721. Wow, 721.
He's almost got more than me. Yeah.
He's catching you. He'll catch you because of G-Task.
He'll overtake me because of G-Task.
Then Secular Forever has played 2,000 games. And this one, I think it's the big milestone of the week. Craig killed ya. They're a new friend to the page, aren't they? Craig killed ya?
I don't think they've had a milestone yet. This was one this technically didn't quite fit in our worthwhile mentions because of the amount of achievements. I think our cutoff is 10k minimum, but it's still. He had commented on his feed, I wonder if this will get a mention on Real Gamerscore podcast, or I wonder if this is worth a mention on Real Gamerscore podcast. Probably because he's been very close on a lot of milestones, but haven't quite hit our metrics, but
97% I think is awesome, no matter how much Gamerscore you got. Look, if you're 970 out of 1,000, I mean,
he was.
okay.
I think it's because he had under 10,000 achievements potential, but he's at like 9,850. So I was like,
right, so he's basically there.
So
much
10,000 achievements, not 10,000 Gamerscore.
I think it's
that's
based on
still
achievements.
grouse. That's good.
Yeah,
that's
but
great.
cool.
Our milestone bot doesn't note that if it's not over.
Right.
So I just look at the bolded stuff. I don't pay attention to the rest of it because it's all usually plebs.
Yeah, because I'd be on there every week, wouldn't I?
All right, mate. You got a million Gamerscore settled down.
Oh, and we got one came in earlier that I probably didn't add. Secular Forever is currently on a 1,500 day achievement win streak.
Jeez.
Yeah, no wonder.
Of course he is. Secular Forever, the milestone magnet. Hey, he could change his username again. Milestone magnet. Anyway. Well, there you go. Come to the end of another episode here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can send us an email at hello@realgamerscore.com. That's what Isaac's done the past 2 times he's contacted us. You can find us on Twitter at realgamerscore. You can find our Discord invite, discord.io/realgamerscore. And you can find our Patreon page at patreon.com/realgamerscore. Thank you to everyone that supports us every month with their hard-earned money. We really appreciate that. Like I said, you can write in a question to the show and we'll answer them in the next episode. And if you're interested in being a guest, you can get in touch with me on Discord. You can subscribe to us on the podcast platform you listen, whether it's Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Apple Podcasts. You can leave us a review, tell your friends about us, retweet us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube and Patreon if you so desire. Kirby, if someone wanted to get in touch with you, how could they do so?
They can contact me on Mixer. Or they can watch me there. Don't contact me there. I won't see it. Xbox Live, True Achievements, Discord, Twitter, all under ChinDocta, ChinDocta. Usually, except for the 4 hours I have my sleep, I'm usually pretty accessible. So, as long as you don't catch me in that window, or I just ignore you. Sometimes people talk, I'm like, yeah, I'm done talking today. Usually I'm pretty good, though.
Yeah, well, you are in high demand for the random to-do list administration, so I'm sure that people need you.
This month. I think I'm out. Gonna drop out of teams next month.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out of teams. I can't play games this way.
I just didn't join in the first place, so I figured I'm ahead of you guys.
Well,
I like the teams.
You know a guy who can get you in.
I don't play roguelites. Roguelites don't usually lead to lots of points in the random to-do list.
That's true. Unless you have a roguelite list.
Well, I would, but again, it's because there's so many roguelites to play, I don't want to jump around. I want to focus a little bit.
Cut your whole list down to just roguelites and you'll still be above the 1,000 achievement minimum.
I'm going to find out if I can do that.
All right.
You go
Neo,
on.
if someone wants to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
As always, I love being contacted, and I'm very, very personable. So make sure you get a hold of me on Discord at Neomaster, or say hi on True Achievements at Neomaster. Ignore what I said last week about not wanting to be contacted. Please contact me so much. I need all your support and adoration. It's what keeps me going.
All right, and you can find me on Xbox, on True Achievements, on Twitter and Mixer, ProfessorPluto, and Discord, ProfessorPluto, and on Twitch, ProfessorPluto1. All right, well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed episode 55. And
We're going to see if I can get over 1,000 with just roguelites. Hold up. I'll cut all this dead air, but this is what you've done. I'm at 329. Alright, we ready? Okay. I can get a pool of 1,255 with just my roguelite games.
There you go, mate.
That's impressive.
That's a problem. There's
be
a
a
couple
tough list for you,
unobtainables
buddy.
in there, but I'm just including them for the sake of... There's not that many. Maybe 1,250 instead of 1,255. And there's a couple I haven't started yet. They're on the list. They're in Game Pass as well, so it's easier. Okay. Alright, thanks for episode 55, everyone. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
See ya.